Warrior Lore. Chapter 1409. Brother. Looking at the woman who suddenly appeared, even Dai Xingyu, Du Shaoqing, and the others were surprised. It's not him, however. Du Xiaoyao, Sima Taxing, and Elder Gu Qingyang were surprised as they recognized that the woman was not Du Xiaofu. Just the aura on her body was not. Du Xiaofu's aura was overbearing and cruel. However, the aura on the woman's body was otherworldly. Du Xiaofu could not compare at all. It's not brother. After being surprised, Du Shaoqing, Dai Xingyu, and the others immediately recognized that the otherworldly woman was not their brother Du Xiaofu. However, the two looked very similar. Their appearances were even more similar. However, the woman was as beautiful as a fairy. She was so beautiful that one could almost mistake her. It's not Du Xiaofu. In the crowd, a sturdy middle-aged man in the Du family's lineup shook his head after being stunned. Countless gazes in the field, including Juling, Jiang Ruolin, and the others, were surprised after being stunned. The otherworldly woman was too similar to the Demon King. The Eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix's eyes trembled violently as she stared at the woman. The surrounding space rippled. Above the stormy sky, there were flashes of lightning and thunder. Light arcs overflowed and mottled with light and shadow. At this moment, this woman tore through the sky, and her green clothes fluttered with the wind. Amidst the mottled lights and shadows, a beautiful figure walked out from within the brilliant and flourishing lights. Her steps were light and graceful, and her eyes were lowered. Her long ink-black hair poured down behind her head, and half of it was tied up on the top of her head with a simple and elegant hairpin inserted into it. Her entire body emitted an immortal aura that was untainted by the flames of the mortal world. She was otherworldly, like an immortal, extraordinary, and proud of the world. Her appearance was like a painting. She did not exist in the mortal world. Her eyes were like that of a god, moving people's hearts. She walked over step by step, as if she was stepping down from the 9 heavens. Wherever she passed, the space under her feet blossomed with extraordinary splendor. Dazzling fluctuations caused the old woman behind her to lose her luster. As she descended, the energy of heaven and earth in the surroundings began to ripple and gather towards her. It was as if countless rays of light were twinkling like stars as they danced around her. She appeared even more ethereal and otherworldly, as if she was an otherworldly immortal. Her sudden arrival made it seem as if she would fly into the 9 heavens and disappear at any moment. Gee, roar. At this moment, tens of thousands of beasts roared and birds screeched as they swarmed towards the woman. What a beautiful woman! Jiang Ruolin, Du Xiaoman, Li Shui and the other girls were all absolute beauties above this Kyushu. Regardless of whether it was their temperament or appearance, they were all extremely rare. However, at this moment, before the woman who had descended, a feeling of insignificance emerged in their hearts. Du Shaoqing and Dai Xingyu stared at the woman who had just descended. One of them had the body of a divine bird, while the other had a pure heart. Both of them sighed inwardly at their inferiority. The beauty of the woman who had just descended was simply indescribable. At this moment, countless gazes were trembling, and no one dared to blaspheme her. That woman was like a deity who had crossed time and space to arrive. She could not be blasphemed or disrespected. She made people feel ashamed of their inferiority, as if approaching her would also pollute her. At this moment, heaven and earth were strangely quiet. Only the light that surrounded the woman began to cluster around her. Demonic beasts, birds, and spirit birds began to circle around her. Spiritual energy overflowed, and a light rain rippled and spread across the sky. Who is she? Is she from the outer heavens? She's unattainable. Even the young leaders like Juling, Ming Rongyin, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, Chen Guyu, and Mu Ruabai felt powerless when they looked at the woman who had just ascended. Half of the 8,000 miles of Central Province's long river's waves were gone. At this moment, it was still undulating, but heaven and earth were silent. Looking at the woman who had just descended, all living beings were shocked for no reason. The arrival of the woman made the hearts of countless geniuses and top experts tremble. Who is she? She's so similar to Big Brother. Only Sister Xiao Luo has her aura. In fact, It's even better. Du Xiaoqing looked at the woman who had just descended. Her ethereal eyes were filled with doubt. She had only felt the woman's aura and temperament from Sister Xiao Luo. Even Dai Xingyu paled in comparison. The woman finally stood still. Her graceful figure landed in front of Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, Dai Xingyu, and Ouyang Shuang. Her gaze swept across the crowd and finally landed on the lineup of the Du family disciples. Thus, the woman walked across the sky. Her ethereal eyes twinkled like stars. In a few steps, she stood in front of Du Zhixiong. Du Zhixiong's heart trembled. However, the invisible bloodline connection made him not afraid of the pressure. For some reason, he felt that they were connected by blood. Du Zhixiong's eyes trembled. As if he felt something in his heart, his entire body began to tremble. He slowly stepped forward and looked straight at the woman in front of him. You must be second uncle. Ni Xiaojing greets second uncle. Under the astonished gazes of countless people, the godlike woman bowed to Du Zhixiong. It was as if a god had descended to the mortal world. Child, are you really back? At this moment, Du Zhixiong's iron-blooded face was filled with tenderness. His eyes trembled and became slightly moist. He knew who the woman in front of him was. That invisible feeling of being connected by blood made it so that he didn't need to be certain. Du Zhixiong and his eldest brother, Du Zhenwu, more or less knew about the matter of their third brother. Seeing that the woman in front of them was so similar to Xiaofu, if it wasn't her, who else could it be? Xiaofu and Xiaojing, it went without saying. We have been waiting for you to come back every day. We have waited day and night. Finally, you have come back. Du Zhixiong's eyes trembled and hot tears gushed out. He wanted to reach out and touch the face connected by blood, but he was afraid that it would be tainted by smoke. Xiaojing came back late. Please forgive me, second uncle, Du Xiaojing said softly. Then, she looked at the many elders behind Du Zhixiong and bowed slightly. She said, Xiaojing greets all the elders. Facing the otherworldly woman, the elders of the Du family couldn't help but tremble. At this moment, they were all at a loss. There were some things that they didn't know. Xiaojing, could it be? Not far away, Du Yunlong and Du Xiaoman looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with faint lightning, as if they had thought of something. That woman seems to be from the Du family. Everyone's eyes trembled. At this moment, it wasn't difficult for everyone to know that the shocking woman who suddenly appeared should be closely related to the Du family. Recognizing your family? How touching. However, it's good that you do so today. After today, the Du family will no longer exist in this world. A deep shout interrupted the quiet atmosphere. It was Regent Master Wu Qi of the Great Wheel sect. His eyes were filled with coldness. The desire to kill the Du family and the desolate country was not extinguished. Just now, an arrow was knocked on the bow. Suddenly, the woman disrupted the arrow, and his heart became gloomier. As Regent Master Wu Qi's shout spread, everyone immediately came back to their senses. At this moment, there was a great battle. The martial domain realm experts were about to take action. A great calamity was approaching. How dare you? In mid-air, the old woman softly shouted. Her weathered face lit up. Grandma Ming, this is the Du family's matter. It's the desolate country's matter. Let me handle it. Du Xiaojing said to the old woman. Her face was calm. Her gaze swept across the 6 domain realm cultivators, including Region Master Wu Qi, Dongli Changgu, and Spirit Array Region Master. Then, she turned around and walked into the sky. Du Xiaojing walked out in the sky. Every step she took was like a lotus flower. Her curves undulated, her dress fluttered, and her hair swayed gently. Her peerless beauty and temperament made people feel suffocated. The profound qi in their bodies was blocked. Who are you? Dongli Qihuang gritted his teeth and raised his head to look at Du Xiaojing. At this moment, under the invisible aura, his primordial spirit was also trembling. The woman looked very similar to Du Xiaofu. She was also from the Du family. Dongli Qihuang felt that perhaps the woman was closely related to Du Xiaofu. My name is Du Xiaojing. My father is Du Tingxian. My brother is Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaojing smiled sweetly. Her celestial voice reverberated. She was Du Tingshuan's daughter. She was the Demon King, Du Xiaofu's younger sister. She is indeed third uncle's daughter and Xiaofu's younger sister. Sister Xiaojing is back. Du Yunlong and Du Xiaoman looked at each other. Their bodies trembled slightly, and lightning flashed in their eyes. She is Du Xiaojing, third master's daughter and brother Xiaofu's younger sister. She is a member of the Du family. Du Hao, Du Yu, Du Shui, Du Gue, and the rest of the younger generation of the Du family were in an uproar. That otherworldly woman was a disciple of the Du family. Du Xiaofu's younger sister again? How many younger sisters does that demon king have? At this moment, the surrounding forces were stunned. That woman was indeed closely related to the demon king, Du Xiaofu. She was Du Xiaofu's younger sister. They wondered how many younger sisters the demon king had. Since she is related to that brat, then she should die with the Du family in the desolate country, Dongli Changgu said in a deep voice. He could feel that the woman was extraordinary. The demon king, Du Xiaofu, was also very abnormal. Since this woman was Du Xiaofu's younger sister, she could not be left alive. She had to be killed to prevent future troubles. Since things had come to this point, if they missed this opportunity, there would be a lot of trouble in the future. Were you the one who wanted to destroy the desolate country and the Du family? Looking at Dongli Changgu, who had just spoken, Du Xiaojing's ethereal voice sounded like a fairy's voice. She then looked at Domain Master Wu Qi, Domain Master Ling Array, and the other 4 people and said, "The Du family and the desolate country are not places that you can offend. Use 6 initial domain realm cultivators, destroy your own cultivations, and I can let you go with your lives." Her voice reverberated in the air as soon as she finished speaking. Although her voice sounded calm, it was filled with a kind of irresistible charm. However, when these words sounded, it caused the hearts of the countless gazes around to fluctuate indeterminately. Which domain realm cultivator wasn't a top-notch existence in the 9 prefectures? Normally, it would be difficult to see them, and they were the true overlords of this world. Now, 6 domain realm cultivators were directly ordered by the young woman to destroy their own cultivations. Chapter 14:10. How powerful was this? She did not even take the 6 domain realm experts seriously. This caused the hearts of the surrounding creatures to fluctuate, and they were all shocked. You overestimate yourself and boast shamelessly, little girl. You're courting death. Region Master Wu Qi was instantly furious. His roar was like thunder as he stepped out. The aura on his body suddenly swept out, stirring up monstrous waves in the provincial river below. It was like a waterfall pouring down, connecting the sky and causing the water to tremble violently. Boom! Region Master Wu Qi attacked almost at the same time. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He was the supreme elder of the Great Wheel sect, a domain realm expert who had been famous for a long time. He had the human emperor's martial vein and practiced several kinds of magical powers. He was extremely powerful and had his own dignity and conceit. At this moment, the little girl did not take him seriously and asked him to destroy his own cultivation. This was simply a humiliation and disdain to him. Kill! Roar! The strange beast roared. This strange beast was actually a real living creature. It was a heaven-shaking divine elephant lion. It was like a lion and an elephant, and its pressure tore the void apart. This was Region Master Wu Qi's vain spirit. It had reached the stage where the vain spirit had turned into a true spirit. It was terrifying and enough to prove that Region Master Wu Qi was not ordinary and powerful. As a famous expert, a martial domain realm expert, an overlord, and a supreme elder of the Great Wheel sect, Region Master Wu Qi was not weak in terms of eyesight or intuition. At this moment, Region Master Wu Qi could naturally feel that the girl called Du Xiaojing was not an ordinary person. She could face so many domain realm experts without being shocked. This was already shocking. However, as a supreme elder of the Great Wheel sect and as a conceited person, Region Master Wu Qi had an absolute killing intent. This big trouble had to be eliminated. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. Therefore, Domain Master Wu Qi had used his vain spirit in an attempt to kill the woman called Du Xiaojing. Roar! The shocking beast roar was like thunder. The heaven-shaking divine elephant lion was covered in dazzling talisman runes. It carried a shocking power as it swept across the sky and shattered the void. It covered the sky and the sun as it dove down toward Du Shaojing. That shocking power caused the hearts of all the martial honors present to tremble. Be careful. Du Zhixiang, Du Yunlong, and Du Xiaoman all sucked in a breath of cold air for Du Shaojing. Their hearts were in their throats. It's good that you made such a choice. I also wanted to kill you in my heart, Du Shaojing faintly said. His expression was still incomparably calm, but a chill began to surface in his clear eyes. As her voice fell, Du Shaojing also made her move. She flicked her long skirt and her slender hand stretched out from within her sleeves. Her hand was crystal clear and at the same time, a bright and resplendent talisman rune poured down like a rain of light. It turned into a beam of light and directly destroyed Domain Lord Wu Qi's meridian spirit, obliterating his talisman rune and silently destroying the surrounding void. Those who touch the desolate country will be killed. Du Shaojing's clear voice continued to ring out. At the same time that she destroyed Wu Qi's meridian spirit, a dazzling light wrapped around her and spun around her, transforming into a light seal that could suppress all living things in the world. In an instant, Du Shaojing's otherworldly temperament disappeared. His clothes fluttered in the wind, as if a supreme being had descended, unrivaled in this world. Rumble. The void of heaven and earth began to collapse. The firmament was trembling, the surroundings were dark, and the wind and clouds were surging. Only the graceful and beautiful figure was surrounded by dazzling light. Strange phenomena appeared in the surroundings. The light was dazzling, and the aura caused ripples in one's heart. Primordial spirit trembled, and the profound chi in one's body was also blocked and solidified. Rumble. The terrifying light seal collapsed, and a rumbling sound was heard. It was as if a celestial being from the 9 heavens was singing. The vast aura rolled down and suppressed Wu Qi. Oh no. At this moment, Wu Qi seemed to have sensed something. His eyes were filled with shock as if he had seen a ghost. His figure rapidly retreated. But at this moment, Wu Qi discovered that the surrounding space had been strangely frozen. Silently, Wu Qi discovered that he could no longer move half a step. Even the profound qi in his body and the primordial spirit in his mind had been imprisoned. The vast aura spread out, causing Wu Qi's primordial spirit to tremble. He wanted to prostrate himself. He watched the vast palm seal fall, and it was as if he saw the 9 nether gates opening for him. Save me, hurry up and save me. A sharp and hurried voice came out of Wu Qi's mouth. His face was already as pale as ash in fear, and his pupils constricted. The light seal seemed slow, but it was actually as fast as lightning. It instantly collapsed. The terrifying aura made him unable to resist, and the martial veins in his body were also crawling. Sizzle. The light seal finally fell, and the surrounding space turned into nothingness. Everything was obliterated. Wu Qi's eyes were filled with despair and his fear. The last cry for help from his mouth could no longer be heard clearly. His body turned into a bloody mist under the light seal, and finally disappeared without a trace. It was as if the dignified Wu Qi had never been in this world. His divine soul was destroyed in an instant. A dignified martial domain realm expert, and a peak martial domain realm expert at that, had been so easily killed by Du Shaojing with a single palm strike. Oh my god, Domain Lord Wu Qi was killed in one move. Countless people were dumbfounded, and their hearts were beating wildly. A martial domain realm expert had been killed like an ant. Just how strong was Du Shaojing? At this moment, the Spirit Array Domain Master, Dongli Changgu, Dragon Transformation Domain Master, and the other domain realm experts were even more shocked. Almost all of them were in a daze in mid-air, unable to recover from their shock. And the 5 of you. Since someone has made a choice for you, then go with him. Those who dare to touch the desolate country will have to pay the price. Du Shaojing looked at the remaining 5 domain realm experts. Her face was calm, but the killing intent in her eyes grew stronger. How could she let someone touch the desolate country that her brother had built? Her brother had suffered a lot along the way. In order to reunite his family, in order to find her mother and her, he had suffered a lot. For the sake of her sister, whom he had never met, he had dug out his heart to save her. How many people in this world could do that? To Du Xiaojing, touching the desolate country, the world society, and the Du family was the same as touching her brother. This was her reverse scale, and it was more serious than touching her. At this moment, Du Xiaojing was furious. How could she let it go? After killing Wu Qi, Du Xiaojing was still calm. Her body was wrapped in light, and her breathing was steady. Her skin was faintly sparkling, surrounded by runes, and she walked toward Dongli Changgu. Dongli Changgu had not recovered from the shock of his brother's death. When he saw Du Xiaojing walking toward him, he felt uneasy, and his face turned pale. Everyone, let's work together. Otherwise, no one will be able to leave today. If this woman doesn't die, she will be a great threat to our evil purifying alliance. If we work together to kill her, we still have a chance. Dongli Changgu shouted in panic. Even Wu Qi had been killed in one move. How could he resist? Although he was also from the martial domain, he had only broken through to the domain realm recently. Hearing this, the Spirit Array Domain Master, Dragon Transformation Domain Master, and the other three looked at each other with ugly expressions. At this moment, the top younger generation of their mountain sects and many core disciples were on the central prefecture Long River. They could not even escape. Let's work together to kill that demoness. In a short moment, the old woman from Spirit Heaven Valley took the lead and shouted. The 4 domain realm cultivators immediately gritted their teeth. Along with Dongli Changgu, the 5 of them formed a tacit agreement and instantly released 5 shocking auras. Their bodies shone brightly, as if the sun had descended. Rumble, roar. In an instant, the sky trembled. The 5 of them activated their martial veins and spiritual roots. For beast veins roared out. The Spirit Array Domain Master activated his spiritual stove, talisman cauldron, and soul attack. There were also artifacts that soared into the sky. The world was collapsing, and the 8,000 miles of central prefecture Long River was boiling. Rumble. The entire sky turned into a void under the explosion of the 5 domain realm cultivators, revealing a heart-palpitating pitch-black halo and shocking talisman runes. The surrounding armies retreated one after another. Some cultivators helped to resist the pressure. Countless people's bodies and souls trembled. Just the aura of the domain realm cultivators was not something those who were not strong enough could resist. The domain realm was the strongest existence in the legends above Kyushu. Let's work together to kill this demoness. In just a short period of time, 5 domain realm experts, accompanied by several enormous meridian souls, numerous magical artifacts, spiritual furnaces, and talisman cauldrons, stirred up the might of their martial veins and spiritual roots, and swept towards Du Xiaojing in a pentagonal manner. Rumble. Wherever the 5 terrifying forces passed, the forces in all directions trembled and the demon beasts prostrated. Wherever they passed, the space seemed to explode with divine light, and multicolored lights surged. The 5 terrifying forces were vast and mighty, accompanied by lightning and thunder. An incomparably gorgeous and resplendent light exploded in the void. However, hidden under the resplendent light was a power that could destroy everything. It enveloped and swept towards Du Xiaojing. Shameless people, you actually joined forces, Du Xiaojing shouted. Seeing that the 5 domain realm cultivators were actually joining forces against Du Xiaojing, her aura surged, and she immediately wanted to intervene and stop them. Du Xiaoyao, Dai Xingyu, Sima Taxing, and Nanli Hun's eyes shone brightly. They also immediately took action. They would not let the 5 martial domain realm cultivators join forces against Du Xiaojing. It's just 5 initial domain realm cultivators. There's no need to intervene. A faint voice sounded in the ears of Du Xiaoqing and the others. It was Du Xiaojing's voice. Du Xiaoqing and Dai Xingyu immediately raised their eyes. At this moment, 5 vast auras swept out. Du Xiaojing's beautiful figure soared into the sky. Her hair fluttered behind her head, and her eyes were clear and cold. Gradually, radiance flickered, and the fluctuations were brilliant. She began to become majestic and powerful. The peerless woman began to awaken like a god. Her dress fluttered, and her body was surrounded by a rain of light. It was as if the aura of chaos had begun to spread, and the pressure descended from the sky. Everyone around trembled, and their hearts trembled. Under the terrifying pressure, their bodies trembled, and they did not dare to look directly at her. Those who were weaker, regardless of whether they were demon beasts or humans, had already prostrated themselves in midair. The terrifying pressure was an irresistible sovereign. They could not help but prostrate before it. Immediately after, even the martial honorables present trembled and prostrated themselves with their heads lowered. The aura that spread out from Du Xiaojing's body was so powerful that even the martial honorables could not withstand it. They had no choice but to bow their heads in the face of a sovereign. Sima Taxing's glassy eyes stared fixedly at Du Xiaojing, who was like a god surrounded by a rain of light. Her hair fluttered in the wind, and she was also trembling. Her heart trembled, and she could not help but exclaim, "Born to be a sovereign." Chapter 14:11. Sima Taxing's exclamation was drowned out by the sound of surging energy. As Du Xiaojing's hand seals condensed, dazzling rune light rain erupted. Accompanied by ear-splitting clanging sounds, the rune light rain began to gather around the beautiful figure, forming a dazzling vortex in front of her. The dazzling vortex was densely covered with special runes that emitted a magnificent and desolate aura. It was like an absolute authority that couldn't be challenged. From afar, the vortex was like an ancient abyss that had traveled through time and space from the ancient times. It made one's primordial spirit sink into it with just a glance. The soul pressure that emanated from the vortex was even more terrifying. It could destroy all living things. The terrifying vortex spread out with Du Xiaojing at its center. The runes that covered it flickered like divine light, as if they were affecting the world and changing the laws of the world. Rumble. The light was resplendent, and a supreme pressure that could not be challenged ruthlessly swept over the frightening attacks of Dongli, Changgu, and the other 4 domain experts that were sweeping over with all their strength. The 5 domain realm experts were all attacking with their full strength. How earth-shattering was that? However, they had encountered Du Xiaojing. The aura within the vortex was magnificent and desolate. It couldn't be challenged. The runes released their mysteries. Du Xiaojing was fighting 1 against 5. The battle was intense. The sound wasn't loud, but the space around the vortex was collapsing and cracking. A pitch-black halo was revealed, and the dazzling runes were constantly being obliterated, dimmed, and shattered. Du Xiaojing was still surrounded by a rain of light. He was solemn and powerful. His terrifying aura was like a vast ocean that rippled in all directions. Countless gazes were watching, and all of them were frightened. This battle was too terrifying. It was destroying space and everything. Dongli Changgu, the Spirit Array Region Lord, the Dragon Region Lord, and the other domain realm experts' expressions became more and more unsightly. They immediately felt that they were no match for the 5 of them. Du Xiaojing's aura was too terrifying. It almost made them want to crawl even with their full strength. Their strength was also greatly affected. There's no turning back. Everyone, fight with all your strength. Dongli Changgu gritted his teeth. His face was as pale as ash. A stream of light flashed out from between his brows. It was his primordial spirit avatar. At the last moment, after his meridian soul shattered, even his primordial spirit was summoned to stop Du Xiaojing. Let's fight. The Spirit Array Domain Lord, the Dragon Transformation Domain Lord, the Black Snake Domain Lord, and the Spirit Cloud Domain Lord clenched their teeth. Dazzling lights shot out from their foreheads and turned into 4 figures that exploded with power. Those were their primordial spirit avatars. Being able to summon a true primordial soul avatar was the symbol of a domain realm expert, and it was the final trump card possessed by a domain realm expert. However, unless it was the most critical situation, no one would easily use their Yuan spirit avatar. Once their Yuan spirit avatar was injured, their main body would also be heavily injured. Once the soul clone was destroyed, it would be equivalent to a severe injury. In the future, it would probably be impossible for his cultivation to advance any further. It would already be considered good if he did not regress. From a certain point of view, the Essence Soul Avatar was even more important than the physical body. It was the condensation of most of a person's primordial spirit, the core of their existence, the foundation of their life. At this moment, the 5-domain realm experts had even used their Yuan spirit avatars. This was a true fight to the death. Instantly, energy surged and shot into the sky with the intention of suppressing Du Xiaojing. Du Xiaojing stood in the sky and gazed at the 5-domain realm experts. Her expression was still calm, but her gaze was like lightning that flashed out. At this moment, she was the supreme expert of this area. She controlled everything and was able to be invincible in this world. The talisman markings in the surroundings spread out as Du Xiaojing used her terrifying might to confine the meridians, souls, spiritual furnaces, talisman cauldrons, and magic artifacts of the 5-domain realm experts. At the same time, endless rays of light erupted from the space between Du Xiaojing's brows. Those were the dazzling talisman markings, and they were like strands of divine flames that jumped about. In the next instant, those dazzling talisman markings transformed into 5 divine arrows. Divine arrow, heavenly soul annihilation. Du Xiaojing shouted. Her beautiful figure was graceful as the 5 divine arrows instantly shot out. As if they were burning with divine flames, they erupted with endless rays of light, talisman markings, and the supreme pressure was released. It was magnificent and desolate. Wherever the 5 divine arrows passed, it was as if they brought along 5 rays of divine light. The surrounding space collapsed and formed 5 pitch-black void passageways that were so deep that they could devour all things. Buzz! The rootless divine arrows pierced through the sky like clanging thunder. The pressure was so strong that it was unimaginable. At this moment, just sensing the power of the 5 divine arrows, Sima Taxing and Nanli Hun's expressions changed. They were secretly assessing their own strength. In the end, they realized that if they were to encounter the 5 divine arrows at this moment, they would have no chance of surviving. That young woman was actually so valiant. The 5 divine arrows soared through the sky and arrived in front of Dongli Changgu and the others in an instant. The supreme pressure caused the laws of heaven and earth to change. It was clearly an aura that could destroy everything, but it seemed so holy. That vast aura was the nemesis of the primordial spirit. Under the suppression of that magnificent and desolate aura, all the primordial spirits were unable to resist. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The 5 divine arrows directly pierced through space and finally pierced through the foreheads of the primordial spirit avatars of Dongli Changgu, the spiritual array region lord, and the dragonization region lord. The 5 primordial spirit avatars were destroyed and obliterated in response. No, the primordial spirit avatars of the 5 primordial spirit avatars were unable to withstand a single blow. No one cried out in fear. At this moment, the 5 primordial spirit avatars' faces changed to the extreme. All of them were in panic and despair. With their primordial spirit avatars destroyed, they were severely injured and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Those who offend the desolate country will be killed. Du Xiaojing showed no mercy. Her slender hands moved, and the surrounding vortex of runes intertwined and boiled, turning into a sea of energy. With a sonorous rumble, it directly crushed the 5 primordial spirit avatars. Bang, 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 bang. The primordial spirit avatars, artifacts, spiritual cauldrons, and talisman cauldrons began to crumble in the vortex. Everything was obliterated. The 5 primordial spirit avatars attacked with all their might. As their auras surged, the sky and earth changed color. Every single one of them could draw upon the majestic power of heaven and earth with a terrifying attack. However, in front of Du Xiaojing, they were unstoppable. The vortex of energy waves directly cracked the space in its path. Then, with a thunderous momentum, it swept past Dongli Changgu and the other primordial spirit avatars and drowned them. Whoosh, whoosh. Then, the vortex of energy waves came to a sudden stop, and the spatial ripples dissipated. The earth-shattering aura and supreme aura that could destroy everything suddenly calmed down. Then, everything became calm again. Even the huge waves on the central prefecture's long river began to calm down amidst the roaring. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not even dare to breathe loudly as they looked at the 6 figures in the sky. Dongli Changgu, Black Snake Domain Lord, Dragon Transformation Domain Lord, Spirit Array Domain Lord, and Spirit Cloud Domain Lord, the 5 primordial spirit avatars, surrounded Du Xiaojing with blood dripping from the corners of their mouths. Wu Shuang's pupils constricted as he stared at Du Xiaojing. It was as if time had stopped at this moment. What's going on? Everyone looked at the sky, and their hearts seemed to be weighed down by a huge rock. They were puzzled, but they could not speak. Du Xiaojing stood in the air with a peerless grace. At this moment, she was extremely beautiful and holy, like a real fairy. She still remained calm and unmoved as she gazed at those 5 cultivators, and her peerlessly beautiful eyes were suffused with an extraordinary coldness. With a flick of her sleeve, her delicate hand swept through space and drew a circle in front of her, and then it carried along an invisible wave of wind that fused with space and tore through the wind as it descended onto the bodies of those 5 cultivators. Whoosh whoosh. When the invisible wave landed on the 5 primordial spirit avatars, an unparalleled aura was released, bringing with it a violent gust of wind. The 5 primordial spirit avatars were shattered into pieces under countless horrified gazes. They broke through the wind and disappeared. The 5 primordial spirit avatars were destroyed, and there was not even a drop of blood. She's a natural-born supreme. Nanli Hun looked at the peerless beauty in the sky, and violent fluctuations rippled in the depths of his eyes. From now on, the Du family will soar into the sky. No one can stop them. Chapter 14:12. Everything calmed down, and the pressure slowly dissipated. Only then could the figures crawling under the Supreme Being pressure stand up, their eyes filled with fear. A total of 6 domain realm experts had arrived, but the result was something that no one had expected and was unbelievable. However, all of this had happened under countless gazes. The entire central state was filled with legendary domain realm experts. A total of 6 of them had their souls destroyed in the blink of an eye, all of them dying in front of that peerlessly beautiful woman. That young woman, the younger sister of the Demon King, Du Xiaofu, had fought against 6 alone and killed 5 martial domain realm experts and a 9-star spirit symbol master. Not a single primordial spirit had escaped. How terrifying and valiant was this? The surrounding atmosphere was terrifyingly deathly silent. Countless gazes were on that peerlessly beautiful woman. The armies and experts of the Great Wheel Sect, Sky Snake Sect, and Spirit Sky Valley were all stunned and motionless at this moment. Their hearts were filled with shock and fear, and a chill ran down their spines. They felt their hair stand on end. Dongli Chihuang raised his head and looked at that peerlessly beautiful woman from afar. Deep fear surged in his eyes, and he began to quietly retreat. Dongli Chihuang would never have imagined that Du Xiaofu's younger sister, Du Xiaojing, would be so powerful. She was even more terrifying than Du Xiaofu. None of the 6 domain realm experts had survived. Dongli Chihuang could already imagine the consequences. This time, his plan was flawless. The desolate country and the Du family would completely disappear from this world. However, who would have known that Du Xiaojing, Little Tiger Du, and the others would suddenly return? In addition to Du Xiaojing, who had appeared out of nowhere, his plan was forcefully cut off. His plan was flawless, but God's plans were different. He had not expected such a change. The armies of the Immeasurable Sect, Shindu Gate, Huijian Sect, and Xinming Sect weren't faring any better. Zhou Zhongling, Zhang Ruolin, Ming Rongyin, Wu Ming, and the others felt their hair stand on end. They were glad that there were no domain realm experts in their mountain sections. Otherwise, they would not be any better off than the Great Luan Sect. 6 domain realm experts couldn't even withstand a single blow. That's a disciple of the Du family, the daughter of the Du family's 3rd master, and big brother Xiaofu's younger sister. That's Sister Xiaojing, a disciple of the Du family. As for the disciples of the Du family, the desolate nation and the world society's army, after the initial shock, they were all boiling with excitement. In the air, Du Xiaojing stared at the trembling army of the Purifying Evil Alliance. Her red lips parted slightly as she spoke in a clear voice. Killing a few people from Chuyu today is only the interest. My brother will take revenge on those who offend the desolate country in the future. Anyone who remains on the central prefecture's long river within an hour will be killed." His voice wasn't loud, but it reverberated through the long river of Central Province. To the remaining members of the evil purifying alliance, this voice was like a great amnesty. "Let's retreat." The experts in front of the Sky Snake sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and the Great Lewin sect's army shouted and hurriedly gestured for their mountain sect's disciples to leave. Since the domain realm experts couldn't even withstand a single blow, they didn't dare to stay any longer. It was already a blessing from the heavens that they were still alive. Quick, run. Quick, roar. In an instant, the army of the Great Lewin sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Snake sect fled in panic. They wished that their parents had given them more legs. "Let's leave as well." Zhou Zhongling, Jiang Ruolin, Wu Ming, and the others were shocked and helpless. They could only lead their mountain sect's disciples and army away in a sorry state. Ming Rongyin looked at the desolate nation's World Society's army in front of her. Her eyes were filled with uncontrollable emotions. "Young sect master, let's retreat quickly." A few of the Stygian sect's experts said to Ming Rongyin anxiously. They were afraid that the terrifying woman would suddenly attack again. Ming Rongyin looked ahead. Suddenly, he took a few steps forward and looked at the desolate nation's World Society's army. He said to Du Yunlong, the Stygian sect had no intention of making things difficult for the World Society. We only wanted to cleanse the evil spirits. Perhaps the Stygian sect was also tricked by someone today. The Stygian sect will withdraw from the evil purifying alliance from now on. We sincerely apologize for what happened today." As soon as he finished speaking, Ming Rongyin turned around and gestured for the Stygian sect's people to leave. That bastard east-departing Scarlet Phoenix is gone? Suddenly, Du Xiaoqing's expression changed drastically. She hated Dongli Qihuang the most. Just as she was about to get rid of Dongli Qihuang once and for all, she realized that Dongli Qihuang had disappeared without a trace. "Forget it. Du Xiaofu won't let him off when he returns," Du Xiaoyao said to Du Xiaoqing. The mighty army of the evil purifying alliance was bearing down on the border. At this moment, after losing tens of millions of soldiers and 6 legendary domain realm experts, they left in a sorry state. They didn't even need an hour. In just a short moment, they disappeared from the central province's long river. The ancient Heaven sect and Stygian sect's disciples were stunned when they saw this scene. Then, they looked at Sima Taxing, Venerated Golden Rock, Elder Gu Qingyang, Nanli Hun, Zhu Shui, and the others. They all looked at Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, Du Xiaoyao, Dai Xingyu, Ouyang Shuang, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, Yi Piaoling, and the others. How could the ancient Heaven sect and Stygian Talisman sect's disciples, be it experts or ordinary disciples, not be shocked when they saw the World Society's younger generation in the desolate nation? Each and every one of the World Society's younger generation was insanely powerful. There was also Du Xiaoqing, Dai Xingyu, and Du Xiaojing, who came out of nowhere. Their peers from the One Valley, 2 religions, 3 sects, and 3 groups were simply no match for them. At this moment, the World Society in the desolate nation was strong enough to soar into the sky. In time, they would be able to compete with the One Valley, 2 religions, 3 sects, 3 groups, and 9 superpowers, or even surpass them. Swoosh, swoosh. In mid-air, a figure appeared. Du Xiaoman and Du Yunlong waited for Du Xiaojing's side. Behind them were Du Yu, Du Shui, Du Hao, and the rest of the Du family's younger generation. "Little sister Xiaojing, you and Xiaofu really look alike. However, you're much better looking than Xiaofu. That guy isn't as good looking as you." Du Xiaoman and Du Yunlong spoke. They looked at Du Xiaojing with surprise. "You must be big sister Xiaoman and second brother Yunlong. I've already been to Stone City and met Uncle." Du Xiaojing withdrew her aura and was no longer cold. She smiled at Du Xiaoman and Du Yunlong. "Greetings, sister Xiaojing. Greetings, fourth miss." Du Yu, Du Shui, and the rest of the Du family's younger generation gathered around her happily. The blood in their bodies was still boiling. "I still don't know your names. Can you tell me your names?" Du Xiaojing smiled. Due to the connection between their blood, She felt an invisible sense of closeness as she looked at the young man and young woman who had gathered around her. Their smiling and curious faces made her feel warm in her heart. The biggest battle in the middle ground in recent years had ended. The Great Wheel Sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Snake Sect's armies had fled in panic. The Desolate Nations World Society, Ancient Heaven Sect, and Profound Talisman Sect's armies began to clean up the battlefield. The experts secretly heaved a sigh of relief. On the long river in the middle ground, the battle had caused the deaths of tens of millions of living beings. Shocking remnant souls and blood chi had gathered and did not dissipate. The phantom had already retracted her body. Her beautiful figure floated in the air. Her bright red silk dress fluttered in the wind. A blood-red light began to form a suction force around her. Like a whirlpool, it devoured the monstrous blood chi and remnant souls left behind after the bloody battle. As the phantom devoured them, the blood chi and remnant souls began to approach her continuously. Finally, they turned into small wisps of energy in the whirlpool and were instantly devoured by the phantom. However, at this moment, the phantom was devouring the remnant souls and blood chi. The disciples of the Profound Talisman Sect and Ancient Heaven Sect could only watch from afar as the phantom devoured the remnant souls and blood chi. At dusk, the setting sun was as red as blood. It shrouded the long river in the middle ground, which appeared even more bloody and terrifying. Sima Taxing and Nanli Hun did not stay for long. They left with many disciples. It was rumored that Sima Taxing and Nanli Hun had met Du Xiaoqing and Du Xiaojing alone. Dai Xingyu was extremely polite. On the other hand, Du Xiaojing, Du Xiaoqing, and Dai Xingyu were extremely relaxed. The great battle finally came to an end. However, the great impact and storm caused by the great battle spread across the middle ground like a bomb from the long river in the middle ground. In a very short time, the entire middle ground was ignited. The news even spread to the other 8 continents in a very short time. Many venerable realm experts had died, and 6 domain realm experts had been killed with a wave of his hand. The dignified sect master of the Great Wheel Sect, Dongli Changgu, had been killed on the central continent's long river as soon as he showed himself. This news was too shocking. This battle caused the desolate country and the World Society's reputation to spread far and wide. In the World Society, the outstanding experts of the younger generation became the topic of everyone's leisure time. Everyone was guessing whether the Great Luan Sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Snake Sect would make any new moves to counterattack the desolate country and the World Society after suffering such a great loss. However, half a month had passed. There was no news from the Great Luan Sect, Sky Snake Sect, and Spirit Sky Valley. They were all silent. Chapter 14:13. Half a month later, the central province's long river was still covered in blood-red waves. The bloody aura still lingered in the air, but it was much thinner now. The Great Wheel Sect, Sky Snake Sect, and Spirit Sky Valley did not move for a long time. The armies of the Ancient Heaven Sect and Profound Talisman Sect had almost all retreated. Even the armies of the Desolate Country's World Society and Heavenly Beast Hall had mostly retreated. However, the central province's long river was still in a state of panic. They did not let down their guard. Second uncle, Sister Xiaoman, Brother Yunlong, Little Qing, Xingyu. I need to go to Shang Province, then to the Beast region. I need to find my brother. Du Xiaojing said to Du Zhixiang, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, Du Xiaoqing, and Dai Xingyu on a mountain peak at the junction of the Million Peaks Mountain and the Central Oblast Long River. Go. Be careful. Find Xiaofu as soon as possible. Everyone will wait for you and your sister to come back. Du Zhixiang looked at the woman in front of him and was reluctant to part with her. She was his third brother's child, which was equivalent to his daughter. If it weren't for the fact that he had to find Xiaofu, he would have wanted her to stay at home for a while longer. I will definitely find my brother and bring him back. Du Xiaojing nodded, his eyes filled with determination. Aunt is still unconscious. I need to bring her to Master. Only Master can save her, Dai Xingyu said. In the air, Little Qing Qing had already transformed into the Qing Wan. Flames burned, and the Origin Beast Sovereign's aura was released. Many people were shocked. Only then did they realize that the girl who looked to be 14 or 15 years old was actually such a terrifying existence. Miss Yurua's injuries are too severe. It's already a miracle that she still has a strand of life. Grandma Ming has already taken action to protect her, but she shouldn't be able to hold on for too long. If there's really no other way, send her to the clan I came from. They might have a way, Du Xiaojing said to Dai Xingyu. Thank you, Sister Xiaojing, but I believe my master will definitely have a way. Dai Xingyu decided to bring her aunt back to master first. She believed master would definitely have a way. Be careful, Ouyang Shuang said to Dai Xingyu. She was a little worried at first, but when she thought of the little girl's current cultivation strength, she did not say anything more. After that, Du Xiaojing, Dai Xingyu, Elder Ming, and little Qingqing soared into the sky and vanished. On the mountain peak, Du Zhixiang, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaofu, and Du Xiaoqing watched the figures disappear for a while before leaving. Whoosh whoosh! Suddenly, a spatial fluctuation appeared in the sky. Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaoqing, Ouyang Shuang, and the others who were about to descend the mountain immediately looked up with solemn expressions. The space fluctuated as an extremely vigorous aura spread out from the sky, causing everyone's soul to tremble. In a short moment, a figure strangely appeared in the air. Along with the appearance of this figure, the entire world trembled. The person who came was a burly man in his 50s. He looked extremely young and had a somewhat wretched face no matter how one looked at it. However, there was a charm that seemed completely impossible to appear on a somewhat wretched face. When they saw that figure appear, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, and Du Xiaoqing's slightly serious expressions immediately surged with pleasant surprise. They were all extremely happy. Brother Qingchun is back? Everyone was overjoyed. At this moment, the figure who came was the sacred array child, Jin Qingchun. Jin Qingchun looked at the people below. His gaze swept across the central province's long river, which was still surging with blood-red waves. His seemingly wretched face then turned cold as he said in a low voice, I was delayed by something. After receiving the news, I still came back late. As Zhan Qingchuan's voice fell, his expression changed again. He raised his head slightly and looked at the sky. More experts are coming. Du Xiaoyao and Du Xiaoqing also looked at the sky again. Qi. In a short moment, there was a fluctuation of aura in the sky. Then, everyone was surprised to see two dazzling rays of light silently appear in the sky like the sun. With the appearance of these two rays of light, the world trembled. The central province's long river below rippled, and demonic beasts in the water roared and crawled. Then, two figures walked out from the light. It was a man and a woman. The man looked like he was in his 40s. His facial features were like a sculpture. When he was young, he must have been extremely handsome. His long purple hair swayed slightly, and his purple patterned robe fluttered. His temperament was extraordinary, and there was a noble king's aura that was enough to make all beasts tremble. The woman was dressed in a green palace dress. Although she looked middle-aged, her temperament was refined, as if she was untainted by the mortal world. There was not much aura around her, but one look at her was like looking at the vast universe. It was unfathomable, and it made one's soul tremble. The middle-aged woman and the purple-haired man looked around, then looked at Zhen Qingchun and said, It seems that we are a little late. After a while, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, Du Xiaoqing, Master Apothecary, Yi Wuming, Yi Piaoling, Qianguyu, Du Xiaoyao, and others were sitting in the tent. Zhen Qingchun, the middle-aged woman, and the purple-haired man sat in the seat of honor. The middle-aged woman was the palace master of Tianxian Hall, Yu Xinzi, and the purple-haired man was the palace master of Mizang Hall, Purple Tianzuan. We were in seclusion to make a breakthrough. After we came out, we heard the news from our disciples and rushed over. It was already too late. Fortunately, we defeated the evil purifying alliance. Yu Xinzi said. Over the years, she and Purple Tianzuan had been in seclusion in a secret place. The disciples who had escaped from the 7-star hall were also secretly biding their time, waiting for the day when they would take revenge on the Divine Light Court and the Devil Religion. The Great Luan Sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Serpent Sect. Do they really think that the desolate country is a pushover? Zhen Qingchuan's inverted triangular eyes flashed with coldness. It's a pity that even though the Great Lewin sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Serpent sect have lost a lot, they are still huge forces. They haven't made a move yet, probably because they have some kind of scruples. It's still difficult for us to face them head-on. There was a faint lightning glow in Du Yunlong's eyes. He knew that the Great Lewin sect had suffered quite a heavy blow this time. However, with the desolate country's current overall strength, it was able to cause the Great Lewin sect to be wary and not dare to casually invade again. However, it did not possess the strength to deal with the Great Lewin sect. The mysterious underworld sect, the intelligent sword sect, the Shindu Gate, and the immeasurable sect have already retreated. The Great Lewin sect, Sky Serpent sect, and Spirit Sky Valley have also suffered a lot this time. I'm afraid that they don't have much strength to do anything now. Those mountain sects have a long heritage and foundation, so there should be a lot of old guys. If the Great Lewin sect and Spirit Sky Valley and Profound Talisman sect attack, the Ancient Heaven sect and Profound Talisman sect won't be polite anymore. Jin Xingchun looked at the people in the tent and said, even if we can't face the Great Lewin sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Serpent sect head-on, we can't swallow this humiliation. We have to tell the Middle Continent that the desolate country is not to be trifled with. Even the bullshit evil purifying alliance is no exception. Brother Qingchun, what do you mean? Du Xiaoman's eyes were slightly puzzled. Brother Qingchun means that the desolate country's world society is too small now. Master Apothecary Yi Wuming smiled. He understood Zhan Qingchuan's meaning. That's right. This time, other than the Great Lewin sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and Sky Serpent sect, there should be people who have to pay the price. Du Yunlong also seemed to understand. His sharp aura fluctuated as he said, some debts will be settled when third brother comes back. As for the other debts, we can collect first. The desolate country has no intention of crossing the river. Since someone thinks that the desolate country is easy to mess with, then they have to pay the price. We need to inform the Ancient Heaven sect and Profound Talisman sect about this first, just in case, Jin Qingchun said in a deep voice. His eyes were filled with coldness. If someone thinks that the Middle Continent is too peaceful, then let it be lively for a while. I, Zhen Qingchun, am not someone to be trifled with. The Beast Region, the golden-winged Great Pungbird clan. In the vast space of golden lightning that no one knew, there was no more violent and fiery aura of destruction. Everything had become docile. Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged. Silver-gold electric arcs filled the space between his eyebrows. Vast and majestic primordial spirit energy swept out from his body, accompanied by the silver net soul devouring thunder, earth-shattering thunder, golden crow sky-burning thunder, and the aura of the spiritual root. Waves of aura fluctuated from Du Xiaofu's space between his eyebrows. The primordial spirit energy in his Naiwen palace was still increasing crazily. This kind of primordial spirit energy was very abnormal. It was enough to crush the primordial spirit of a talisman master at the same level. In the Naiwen palace in his mind that no one could see, Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit was sitting cross-legged on a purple 9-petaled lotus. Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit body was wrapped in a silver-gold electric arc. It was the color of the fusion of the 3 types of spiritual thunder soul seeds. It made the primordial spirit body emit an ancient aura and also a domineering and destructive aura. The fusion of the golden crow sky burning thunder soul seed, a spiritual thunder soul seed at the initial domain level, was so powerful that Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit had been receiving great benefits. The primordial spirit aura began to increase crazily. Vast and majestic primordial spirit energy swept out from his body. It was extremely shocking. The primordial spirit had been growing crazily for a long time, but no one knew when it would stop. Time passed quietly. During this process, the concept of time had been completely lost. However, Du Xiaofu's crazily growing primordial spirit finally came to a stop. On a certain day in a certain year, in this space where the concept of time seemed to have been lost, the crazily growing primordial spirit energy between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows finally came to a stop. Boom! The aura came to a stop and the surrounding space fluctuated. The crazily growing primordial spirit energy also reached a bottleneck. After fluctuating a few times, it finally came to a complete stop. As the primordial spirit aura came to a stop, there seemed to be lightning flickering between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows that were releasing silver-gold electric arcs. Above his head, there was a faint light that gradually appeared, like a divine fire rising. At a closer look, there were a total of 6 flashing lights. Chapter 14:14. Translator. H2DH2 Mr. However, just as the Yuan spirit aura between Du Xiaofu's brows stopped rising, a majestic aura within his body finally erupted like a volcano, unable to be suppressed any longer. It was as if a peerless, ferocious beast had awoken. Boom! As this aura erupted, a bolt of purple lightning energy suddenly shot into the sky like a bomb. The purple light energy was like a purple sun shooting into the sky, spreading across the surrounding space. That was the lightning martial vein in Du Xiaofu's body. After devouring so much golden crow sky burning lightning, it had also received great benefits. At this moment, the lightning martial vein's enormous age was feeding back to the divine gate in his body, causing the divine gate chi in Du Xiaofu's body to be filled and continuously strengthened. Rumble. Within the space, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. After that, in a short period of time, from behind Du Xiaofu, who sat cross-legged, there was an expanse of boundless, dazzling golden talisman secret markings that erupted like a waterfall. Boom! These golden talisman inscriptions were dazzling as golden light filled the sky. They began to arrange themselves and condense into a golden 5-fingered mountain that extended outwards. The pressure from the golden 5-fingered mountain caused the entire space to tremble violently, as if it wanted to suppress and destroy this space. The golden mountain behind Du Xiaofu evolved and grew, as if it had been given life, as if it was about to come to life. Dense spiritual energy filled the air as the 5-fingered mountain gave birth to a spirit. A powerful life aura began to grow. A moment later, the talisman inscriptions on the 5-fingered mountain began to change, turning into a golden ape. This golden ape had the appearance of the red-bone horse monkey. The golden talisman inscriptions on its body evolved, communicating with the heavens and earth. It gave off a supreme feeling, as if the heavens and earth had just been created. Rumble. Space trembled. At the same time, as Du Xiaofu's Yuan spirit aura stagnated, a new aura began to rise. A wave of pressure spread out and began to rapidly strengthen. It had been more than a month since the Great Luan sect had been defeated by the desolate country. The entire central region was in turmoil. The Heavenly Illusionary sect was located at the border of the central region. It was considered a second-rate sect that was close to becoming a first-rate sect. It was comparable to the 7-star hall. It was rumored that there were a few martial honorables and 8-star talisman masters in the Heavenly Illusionary sect. Their cultivations were not ordinary, and they were quite famous in the Middle Continent. They had helped the Heavenly Illusionary sect conquer a large area. It was said that the Heavenly Void sect was backed by the Sky Serpent sect. Therefore, not many people dared to offend them in the central region. Early in the morning, the sky was slightly chilly, but the morning breeze carried with it a tense aura that would not dissipate, causing the air to seem as though it would not disperse. Roar. Suddenly, in this early morning, there was a shocking beast roar that shook one's soul and woke them up from their dreams. Walala! Suddenly, there was a whistling sound in the quiet sky. Looking from afar, there was a large patch of dark clouds floating in the sky. Upon closer inspection, he realized that it wasn't a dark cloud, but a huge black mass of demonic beasts. Rumble. At the same time, the earth shook and the mountains shook. Tens of thousands of huge figures rushed over with an imposing aura. In the sky and on the ground, there were demonic beasts everywhere. Their auras were strong and they roared ferociously. On their bodies, there was a countless army. Boom. The army held their weapons and waves of profound chi surged out, forming a shocking aura that suppressed the sky. It was also filled with a monstrous bloodlust. Wherever it passed, the sky changed color. On the army, there were dozens of figures that soared into the sky. Each of them looked at the mountain range in front of them with a cold gaze. In the early morning, the Heavenly Illusionary sect's territory should have been bustling with noise and excitement. However, at this moment, the wind and clouds changed color. It was like the omen before a storm. When everyone raised their heads to look at the sky, they seemed to have already heard the news. At the same time, they were shocked as they looked at the terrifying demonic beast army in the sky and on the ground. It was like a dark cloud that covered the sky. Under the murderous aura that covered the sun, everyone was terrified and their hair stood on end. The World Club's army is finally here. That's the Heavenly Beast Hall's demonic beast army. They are invincible. It's too scary. In 12 days, the World Club has destroyed 4 mountain sects and 2 empires. Now, it's the Heavenly Illusionary Sect's turn. Those mountain sects and empires that were destroyed had followed the evil Purifying Alliance to attack the desolate country's World Club. Now, the World Club is here for revenge. I wonder if the Sky Snake Sect will send people to help the Heavenly Illusionary Sect. Otherwise, the Heavenly Illusionary Sect will be finished today. Last time, the Sky Snake Sect had 2 legendary martial domain realm experts killed by Demon King Du Xiaofu's younger sister, Du Xiaojing, in front of the desolate nation. Now, they are probably afraid of the World Summit. Why would they still help? Look, that's one of the supreme talents, Du Xiaoqing. Rumor has it that she defeated Dongli Qihuang in one move at the Chang River in Zhong Province. That's Du Yunlong, the vice president of the World Club and the cousin of the Demon King Du Xiaofu. The most terrifying ones are the 18 young men. Do you see them? That's the 18 heavenly guards led by Yi Piaoling. They are the World Club's killing troops. What a terrifying World Club. They are full of talents. This time, the Great Luan Sect, the Sky Snake Sect, and the Spirit Sky Valley have kicked a steel plate. The World Club shouldn't dare to touch the Spirit Sky Valley, the Great Luan Sect, and the Sky Snake Sect. However, the Heavenly Illusionary Sect's follower, the Sky Snake Sect, is in big trouble this time. The World Club is obviously here for revenge. Rumor has it that the World Club is working with evil spirits. I wonder if it's true. I don't think so. Otherwise, the Ancient Sky Sect and the Black Charm Sect wouldn't support the World Club. In the surrounding mountains, countless onlookers didn't dare to get close. They were shocked and discussed in low voices. They looked from afar and didn't dare to get close. They were afraid that they would suffer an unexpected disaster. Massacre the Heavenly Illusionary Sect. When the army advanced to the mountain gate of the Heavenly Illusionary Sect, countless figures stood in front of the majestic mountain range. Among the army, fierce murderous voices gathered. Monstrous murderous aura spread out, causing the wind and clouds to surge. In the majestic mountain range of the Heavenly Illusionary Sect, there were dozens of figures standing on the main peak. The leader was a gloomy old man. At this moment, a gloomy aura spread out around him. His face was very ugly. He said in a deep voice, "Bastard, the Sky Snake Sect still hasn't sent anyone. Are they giving up on us?" "Sect Master, the World Club's army is here. What should we do?" A middle-aged man asked the gloomy old man hurriedly. His face was filled with fear and panic. "Set up the formation and defend. Wait for the Sky Snake Sect's experts to come and rescue us," the gloomy old man said in a deep voice. At this moment, other than defending, he had no other choice. That day at the Central Province's Long River, he had personally seen how terrifying the World Club's army and its experts were. The Heavenly Illusionary Sect couldn't withstand the revenge of the World Club. In just 10 days, 2 empires and several mountain sects were crushed and massacred. This was the proof. Set up the formation. Suddenly, a loud shout came from the surrounding mountain peaks. The voice reverberated in the surrounding area. Rumble. Suddenly, the ground shook and the mountains shook. Talisman arrays began to activate. Array flags appeared and flew into the sky. They faintly revealed a trace of mystery. They connected with each other and then turned into light pillars and disappeared in midair. Rumble. In a short period of time, a huge formation that covered the sky appeared and enveloped the Heavenly Illusionary Sect's base. The frightening pressure that was faintly emitted from the great array caused the entire space to tremble. Clearly, it was extremely powerful. It's just an 8-star Nirvana Talisman array. In midair, A black army was filled with monstrous killing intent. A golden-clothed young man walked out. In a flash, he appeared in front of the huge talisman array. Brothers, today's update is still 2 chapters. I'm informing you in advance. I'm afraid that everyone will wait for a long time. Chapter 14:15. The golden-clothed young man's golden eyes were filled with light, emitting the primordial aura of the world. His hands moved, and his hand seals changed continuously. A golden light immediately shot out from his body, causing the entire sky to rumble and tremble. Amidst the golden light, the golden-clothed young man's golden hand seal landed on the soul-shaking symbol array in front of many pairs of eyes. The golden hand seal seemed to be able to push everything aside and suppress everything in all directions. Majestic primordial aura of the world surged and whizzed downwards, after which it directly collided with the symbol array. Boom! Immediately, the mysterious symbols on the light barrier of the symbol array trembled and the space trembled. The golden hand seal seemed to be able to destroy the symbol array and destroy everything. In the next instant, a huge sonic boom resounded across the sky like a clap of thunder. Rumble! In the sky, a brilliant light spread out. Under the fearful gazes of many Taoists, the 8-star Nirvana level sect protecting array, which was the last line of defense of the heavenly void sect, could not even withstand a single blow. Cracks started to appear on the 8-star Nirvana level sect protecting array. The small, empty heaven sect dares to offend my desolate country's world society. You will have to bear the revenge of my desolate country's world society. Disciples of the world society, listen up, kill without mercy. At the instant the talisman formation shattered, Du Yunlong soared through the sky with a fierce and murderous aura. His cloud robe fluttered as his figure directly pounced forward. Kill, roar. Once the symbol array was broken, the demonic beast army from the heavenly beast hall and the desolate country's world society disciples charged forward. With the strong practitioners in front, the space around them exploded. Desolate country's army, listen up. Kill anyone who dares to offend my desolate country. Honored apothecary Yi Wuming cried out. With his status as the country-guarding duke, he led the desolate country's kings to charge forward. No one could stop him. Destroy the empty heaven sect. Kill without mercy. Within the mountain range, voices filled with killing intent soared into the sky, transforming into shocking sound waves that reverberated across the sky. The desolate country's world society army charged forward. While the desolate country's world society disciples were stunned, the desolate country's world society's demonic beast army charged forward. Immediately, countless strong practitioners descended. Without any hesitation, they started to kill the desolate country's world society army. Kill. The battle cries and the muffled sounds of energy were like endless thunder. Yi Piolin, Changgu Yu, and the 18 heavenly guards. The 18 heavenly generals. Kill. The silver-winged devil condor stepped into the air, its voice reverberating in the air. Demonic chi surged, terrifying to the extreme. Swoosh. Suddenly, many silhouettes rose up in the air, trying to escape. They were the Zun cultivators of the empty sky sect. They wanted to stay alive, and there was hope. No one can. Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, O Yangshuang, Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, and the others were prepared. They charged forward. Instantly, the sky was filled with wind and clouds. The result was predictable. The desolate country's god wanted to escape. However, in front of Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, O Yangshuang, and Du Yunlong, they did not stand a chance. They were easily killed. In the end, the Sky Snake sect's experts did not come to their aid. In despair, their spiritual souls were destroyed. Only then did they realize how ridiculous it was to follow the Sky Snake sect to deal with the desolate country's world society. When they were about to die, the desolate country's experts finally understood that their own strength was the real strength. They could not rely on the Sky Snake sect or others. Under the attack of the Heavenly Beast Hall's demonic beast army, the terrifying demonic beast army transformed into their true forms. They roared ferociously and pounced towards the disciples of the Heavenly Void sect. Their terrifying aura caused the entire heavenly void sect's base to shake. The ordinary desolate country's disciples had never seen such a scene before. They were so scared that they could not fight back. This was a massacre. Instantly, miserable cries of agony and the roars of the demonic beasts converged into thunderous roars that reverberated in the air. The desolate country's headquarters was like purgatory. Murderous aura filled the sky, and the earth shook. This was the terrifying power of the desolate country's world society. In a short period of time, they had already razed the desolate country's world society to the ground. Help! In the desolate country's headquarters, cries of agony filled the air. It was a massacre and blood flowed like a river. This massacre only lasted for 2 to 4 hours before it ended. After that, the army of the World Assembly from the Huang country started to collect the Qinkuan pouches and search the treasury of the Heavenly Void sect. Countless gazes from afar trembled, but no one dared to get close. Just the sound of slaughter alone was enough to make one's hair stand on end. The Wasteland country's World Assembly is too terrifying. No wonder they dared to go against the evil purifying alliance. There will be no more empty heaven sect in the future. The Wasteland Nation World Society is taking revenge. After all, this is the Sky Snake sect's territory. I don't know when the Sky Snake sect will intervene. They can't let the desolate country remain like this forever, right? At dusk, the blood chi in the base of the Heavenly Void sect shot up into the sky. The murderous chi did not dissipate for a long time. The remnant souls and the murderous chi lingered in the air. Walala, the figure of the phantom appeared. Her bright red dress fluttered slightly, and her blood-red hair danced. The vortex around her body crazily devoured the remnant souls and evil blood chi around her. These remnant souls and evil blood chi were her nourishment for breaking through and strengthening. The next morning, the army of the Huang Nation World Assembly left in a grandiose manner. They rushed to the next mountain gate to carry out the bloodiest revenge. Mountains stood tall, surrounded by clouds and mist. In the distance, thousands of mountains rose and fell. It was magnificent and boundless. Sima Taxing stood quietly in front of the precipice of the mountain peak. His green robe and black hair fluttered in the wind. The message jade slip in his hand gradually dimmed. He opened his slightly closed eyes. His glass-like eyes were deep and unfathomable. Sect Master, the Great Luan Sect, the Spirit Sky Valley, and the Sky Snake Sect did not expect this result. They have suffered heavy losses. An old man in his 50s stood behind Sima Taxing and said. His face was full of shock. It was Protector Hao. Sima Taxing smiled and said, "We have lost a lot of venerable realm cultivators and 2 domain realm cultivators. It can be said that we have suffered heavy losses. However, Du Yunlong, Du Shaoqing, and the others have been too flamboyant recently. In the past 3 months, they have already swept through dozens of mountain gates and no less than 30 empires. I'm afraid that the Great Luan Sect, the Sky Snake Sect, and the Spirit Sky Valley will not be able to endure this next time." Protector Hao sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard that. It had been almost 4 months since the great battle at the Chang River in the central region. In this period of time, the World Society's army from the Huang country had been invincible. They had massacred dozens of sects and swept through more than 30 empires. Wherever they went, no one could stop them. The entire central region was in a state of panic. Many mountain gates and empires knew that things were not going well and had already abandoned their nests and fled. The Huang Nation World Assembly did not put the Great Luan Sect, the Spirit Sky Valley, and the Sky Snake Sect in their eyes. Protector Hao could not help but worry that the Great Luan Sect, the Spirit Sky Valley, and the Sky Snake Sect would have no choice but to take action. Array Child Jin Qingchun, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, Du Shaoqing, Little Tiger, and the others are all ruthless people. When these people gather together, they are almost fearless. Apart from Array Child Jin Qingchun, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, and the others probably do not even know the true strength of the Great Luan Sect, the Sky Snake Sect, and the Spirit Sky Valley. Although they had lost 2 domain realm experts and many honorable realm cultivators, it was not enough to cause any real internal damage to the Spirit Sky Valley, the Great Luan Sect, and the Sky Snake Sect. Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. Sima Taxing sighed softly. Then, He smiled bitterly and said, however, it is precisely because of this that the Great Luan sect, the Sky Snake sect, and the Spirit Sky Valley are even more unfathomable to the Huang Nation World Assembly. More importantly, they do not know what kind of terrifying existence is behind Du Shaoqing, Dai Xingyu, and the others. The more uncertain they are, the more fearful they are of Du Yunlong and the others. Chapter 14:16. Hearing this, Protector Hao nodded after some thought. However, Du Shaoqing, Du Shaojing, and Dai Xingyu's backgrounds are indeed quite deep. Du Shaojing should be from legalism. From the Tianhuang continent, Du Shaoqing, Du Xiaoao, and Little Tiger seem to be related to the farmer's clan. Dai Xingyu, on the other hand, is Murong Yurua's niece. However, the Murong clan is not a large clan. Dai Xingyu is already a 9-star spirit talisman master at such a young age. She is a true monster and definitely not someone the Murong clan can nurture. Therefore, there must be a terrifying existence behind her. Even I can't guess. Sima taking Xing looked ahead and muttered, there is also Ouyang Shuang. Her performance this time was also shocking. Her background is probably not simple either. I never thought that the world society would be so terrifying even when Xiaofu is not in the desolate country. Du Shaoqing, Dai Xingyu, Du Xiaoyao, Little Tiger, Ouyang Shuang, Yi Piaoling, and Qiangu Yu. How did these terrifying fellows gather together? Protector Hao smiled helplessly. According to the information he had obtained, the group of terrifying youths in the world society was enough to defeat their peers in the ancient heaven sect. In the future, when that group of terrifying youngsters grew up, how terrifying would that be? Don't forget that there is also the group of extraordinary people from the Tianwu Academy. General Gu Xinyan, Gu Hua, Wu Kei, Li Yuxiao, and the others are not weak. Also, the Du clan does not only have Du Yunlong and Du Xiaoman. There is no need to mention Du Shui and Du Yu. There is also Du Gue, Du Hao, and the others. As a whole, they can be said to be abnormal. Sima taking Xing smiled bitterly. It seems that the Great Wheel sect is not the only one who is in a terrible fix. The Sky Snake sect, Spirit Sky Valley, and the Divine Light Court must also be in a terrible fix. Divine Light Court. Protector Hao raised his eyes and smiled faintly. The Divine Light Court should be most afraid of that Demon King's sudden return. Dongli Chihuang was sitting cross-legged in a secret chamber in the Great Wheel sect. He wore a red robe and had golden hair. His eyes were cold, but his face was still pale. It had been more than 4 months since the battle on the Central Plains. He had been heavily injured by Du Shaoqing and had yet to recover. This time, with the Purifying Evil Alliance, Dongli Chihuang wanted to completely annihilate the Wasteland Kingdom's world society to get rid of all future troubles. When Du Xiaofu returned, he would definitely have an interesting expression on his face. However, Dongli Chihuang did not expect that when he was at his most glorious, he would fall from heaven to hell. Du Shaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaojing, and the others naturally appeared. Not only did they sweep away the entire Purifying Evil Alliance, but they also hit his heart to the bottom. He had reincarnated and was the reincarnated saint of the Great Wheel sect. He still had the state of mind of his previous life. At first, Du Xiaofu blocked his path. This time, when he finally returned to his peak, Du Xiaofu could not even protect himself and had fled outside the Central Plains like a dog. However, who would have thought that Du Shaoqing, Dai Xingyu, and Du Xiaoyao would appear this time? Any one of them was stronger than him and could trample on him. This was the real reason why Dongli Chihuang could not let go of this blow. Bastard, if I don't take revenge, I, Dongli Chihuang, am not a man. Dongli Chi shouted coldly, emitting a chilling aura. Saint, the desolate country's world society has swept through more than 30 empires and dozens of mountain sections. No one can stop them. Spirit Sky Valley and Sky Snake sect have been sending people to discuss countermeasures. A voice came from outside the secret room and asked Dongli Chihuang, tell them that I'm still in seclusion to heal my injuries. Once I've recovered, I'll contact them immediately. Dongli Chihuang looked up slightly, his eyes flashing coldly. He said, compared to those mountain sects, many of them have come looking for us, right? Saint, Many mountain sects are in a state of panic and are seeking our protection. The voice outside the secret room was silent for a while, then continued, the desolate country's world society is too arrogant. They don't put our Great Wheel sect, Sky Snake sect, and Spirit Sky Valley in their eyes. Have you found out the origins of Dai Xingyu, Du Xiaojing, Ouyang Shuang, and Du Xiaoqing? Dongli Chi Huang asked the person outside the secret room in a deep voice. Saint, we've only found out that Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Tiger might be related to the farmer's family. Du Xiaojing's origins are mysterious, while Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu's origins are even more mysterious. Dai Xingyu was originally a descendant of a small Morong family and disappeared for more than 10 years. Ouyang Shuang was originally from Tianwu Academy and is the granddaughter of the desolate country's Jinnan prince. Her talents are not weak, but not outstanding. This time, she disappeared for several years and returned with such a terrifying strength. A voice came from outside the secret chamber. There was a hint of shock in the voice. Continue to investigate. We must find out their origins. Dongli Chi Huang said coldly, then added, act according to the plan. Those mountain sects who are strong enough, bring them to our sect for protection. That Du Yunlong still doesn't dare to come to our Great Wheel sect. Let them kill him. He can be of help to me. Who knows, I might have to thank him in the future. Yes, the person outside the secret room replied. Then, he seemed to hesitate for a while, then asked, Saint, the sect leader has unfortunately fallen. The elders have discussed and hoped that you can ascend to the position of sect leader first. The sect can't be without a leader for a day. I'm not interested in the position of sect leader, Dongli Chi Huang said. His eyes moved slightly as if he suddenly thought of something. Then, he turned his gaze and smiled faintly. How's Cheng Chao recently? That guy is still the same. He's always been a rich second generation. He uses the name of the saint to commit crimes in the sect. He even messes with the female disciples. His cultivation talent is not bad and he's quite lucky. He actually received the inheritance of one of our sect's elders in the secret realm. It seems that he broke through to martial honor a few months ago. The voice outside the secret room said helplessly, Is that so? Dongli Chi Huang smiled and said to the person outside the secret room, Tell the elders to let Cheng Chao join our Great Wheel sect. Let him take the position of sect leader. Sect leader only wants Cheng Chao. The voice outside the secret room was stunned and said, Saint, this is not a small matter. Saint, do you want to think about it again? Cheng Chao's talent, strength, and background are not enough to become the sect leader of our Great Wheel sect. Saint, if you don't want to become the sect leader, there are many people among the younger generation who are better than Cheng Chao. Go and inform the elders. I've made up my mind. There's no need to say anything else. Eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix's voice deepened by quite a bit, revealing a faint chill. Yes, Saint. Hearing this, the person outside the secret room did not dare to say anything else and immediately took his leave. It seems that I have to use the last step. As the person outside the secret room left, Dongli Chi Huang, who was sitting cross-legged, trembled and smiled coldly. He muttered, I've reincarnated and started from scratch. Do you really think that you can surpass me? It's impossible. Soon, I'll return to my peak. When that time comes, I won't fail again. Early in the morning, everything was quiet. Under the blue sky, ancient pagodas were connected between the silver ridge and the green grass. Many magnificent halls were filled with ancient statues. It was like a sacred place with winding paths leading to a secluded place. There were meditation rooms and flowers everywhere. At the turn of the mountain path, a vermilion ancient hall was hidden among the lush ancient trees. White lotuses were blooming, and a fragrance was lingering. Inside the hall, there was an ancient Buddha with slightly drooping eyelids. He was very compassionate. Smoke lingered in the hall, and the atmosphere was solemn. A bald young man sat cross-legged under the ancient Buddha. His face was as exquisite as jade, and there were 9 scars on his head. They were like 9 mysterious runes, shining brightly. He was the boundless sect's 9-fold spirit. I've cleansed the evil spirits, but this time, I've brought the boundless sect to eternal damnation. Countless living beings have suffered because of this. I've sinned. The ninefold spirit prayed to the Buddha and muttered to himself, feeling depressed. Early in the morning, the sky was clear. Swoosh! The sound of wind breaking suddenly broke the calm sky. Two figures suddenly appeared in midair. They were an old woman and a beautiful woman. They were otherworldly, like immortals. Miss Xiaojing, the golden-winged rock clan, is in front. The old woman floated in midair. Her eyes were clear as she spoke to the beautiful woman. Chapter 14:17. The Hahuan school said that Big Brother came to the Beast region. According to the information we received from the Beast region, Big Brother ran into people from the golden-winged Great Rocks. It's very likely that he's among them. The beautiful woman was none other than Du Xiaojing, who'd come from the central continent. She'd traveled all the way from the central continent to the Shang continent. Then, after inquiring about the Beast region, she'd come to the golden-winged Great Rocks. Along the way, it was not difficult for Du Xiaojing to gather information. After all, the Demon King, Du Xiaofu, caused a lot of commotion wherever he went. However, after coming into contact with the golden-winged Great Rocks, there was suddenly no news of him, so Du Xiaojing went all the way to the golden-winged Great Rocks. Ordinary people did not know where the golden-winged Great Rocks were. However, with Du Xiaojing's status and Elder Ming's presence, it was naturally not difficult for him to find out. Elder Ming looked to the front, and then looked at Du Xiaojing. He wanted to say something, but hesitated. Then, he said softly, "Miss Xiaojing, your brother has the golden wings of a great rock. According to the temperament of the Great Rock Clan, I'm afraid you should be mentally prepared. The Great Rock Clan is unfathomable, and even the clan is afraid of them. No matter what, I have to go in. If the golden-winged Great Rocks harm my brother, then no matter how unfathomable the golden-winged Great Rocks are, they will still pay the price." Du Xiaojing gazed at Elder Ming, and his eyes rippled as he said, "Granny Ming, you should be clearly aware of how much and what price Big Brother has paid for me and our family. Without Big Brother, I wouldn't be who I am now." Old Ming looked at Du Xiaojing as a somewhat bitter smile appeared on his aged face. After which, he let out a soft sigh and did not say anything else. He looked to the front and formed a seal with his hands. A faintly discernible light appeared at the center of his palm. Its aura spread out, as if it could purify one's spiritual altar. Following which, an aged voice rang out, "Old fellow, are you dead yet? An old friend has come to visit." Within the lightning space, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged. The majestic aura within his body surged like a suppressed volcano. Purple arcs of electricity shot up into the sky like a bomb. Behind Du Xiaofu, the golden redbone horse monkey's body was surrounded by endless dazzling golden talisman inscriptions that erupted like a waterfall. The body of the redbone horse monkey shone with boundless golden light as it continued to evolve, as though it was bestowed with life. A powerful aura of life continued to grow, connecting with the heavens and earth, giving off a feeling of the beginning of the heavens and earth, as though it was the beginning of all living things. Rumble. The space trembled and Du Xiaofu's new aura continued to rise. After an unknown amount of time, the aura reached a peak before gradually coming to a stop. The powerful life force that the redbone horse monkey, which was formed from the secret symbol on his back, emitted gradually came to a stop. Deep within its eyes, there was some confusion within its lively eyes. Everything came to a standstill, as if everything had encountered a bottleneck. Only above Du Xiaofu's head, the faintly discernible light that resembled a divine fire was still rising. There were a total of 6 rings, and they were shining brightly. It shouldn't be like this. Why must it be like this? At a certain moment, Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, closed his eyes tightly and seemed to be muttering something to himself. Then, everything came to a standstill. The middle region was still in a bloodbath. To many small and medium forces, it was a nightmare. Wherever the desolate country's World Society army passed, no one could wait. They destroyed everything and carried out their bloody revenge. Some empires and forces had even fled when they heard the news, abandoning their mountain bases. They did not dare to stop the desolate country's World Society army. This was because many small and medium forces had formed an alliance. They gathered their army and many experts to stop the desolate country's World Society army. But in the end, these alliances' mountain bases could not withstand a single blow from the World Society's Du Shaoqing, Du Little Tiger, Du Xiaoyao, Ouyang Shuang, Du Yunlong, the 18 heavenly generals, and the heavenly beast hall's army of demonic beasts. They were completely destroyed. In the face of this bloodbath, another major event happened in the middle region. The sect master of the Great Luan sect, Dongli Changgu, was said to have been killed by the demon king Du Xiaofu's sister, Du Xiaojing. The Great Luan sect had no sect master. Just when everyone was guessing that Dongli Chihuang would be the next sect master, the Great Luan sect suddenly announced that the next sect master would be Cheng Chao. When this news spread, the entire middle region was stunned. The major forces could not react in time. Not many people knew about Cheng Chao's background. Among the disciples of the Great Luan sect, Cheng Chao was not well known and did not seem to be famous. In the end, someone found out that Cheng Chao was the prince of the Qing family of the Stone Dragon Empire, which had been destroyed by the World Society. He was also the younger brother of Cheng Shengnan of the Divine Light Court, one of the top 10 heavens prides in the sealed ancient land. Looking at it, Cheng Chao had quite a deep relationship with the Great Wheel sect's East-leaving Scarlet Phoenix. Recently, the Great Luan sect and the Desolate Country's world meeting were like fire and water. Sooner or later, there would be a huge battle. Cheng Chao, the prince of the Stone Dragon Empire, had become the new sect leader of the Great Luan sect. This made the various factions speculate about the Great Luan sect's arrangements. When the Great Luan sect announced that Cheng Chao was the new sect leader, they also announced to the public that the Evil Purifying Alliance still existed. The Desolate Country's World Society was in cahoots with the evil spirits and was a scourge to the central state. The Great Luan sect and the Desolate Country's World Society were irreconcilable. After that, the Spirit Sky Valley and the Sky Snake sect both announced that they were at odds with the Desolate Country's World Assembly, and that the Evil Purifying Alliance would still exist. However, the Ancient Heaven sect and the Profound Talisman sect immediately announced their withdrawal from the Evil Purifying Alliance. Shortly after, the Profound Underworld sect announced their withdrawal from the Evil Purging Alliance. After that, the Immeasurable sect, Shindu Gate, and the Huijian sect all announced their withdrawal from the Evil Purifying Alliance. Back then, the Evil Purifying Alliance had included all the major and minor forces in the Central Plains. However, at this moment, most of them had withdrawn. They were even being hunted by the Desolate Nations World Society's army for bloody revenge. Early in the morning, the sun rose from the east. The Great Luan sect was decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It was a joyous occasion. However, in this joyous atmosphere, it was not difficult to feel sullen. Today was the day that the new sect leader of the Great Luan sect, Cheng Chao, would ascend to the throne. Inside and outside the main hall, the disciples of the Great Luan sect were gathered. There were many top powers and many major and minor forces had come to congratulate Cheng Chao. However, no matter how one listened to it, it was a little unnatural. The top powers of the various major and minor forces did not seem to be paying attention to the new sect leader of the Great Luan sect. On the other hand, the new sect leader, Cheng Chao, was surrounded by many male and female disciples of the Great Luan sect. His eyes were filled with smiles. In the past few years, Cheng Chao had undergone many changes. He had stepped into the martial honorable realm and was now the sect leader of the Great Luan sect. This made him feel high-spirited and vigorous. How could his identity as the prince of the Stone Dragon Empire be compared to his current identity as the sect leader of the Great Luan sect? At this moment, as the sect leader of the Great Luan sect, Cheng Chao could do whatever he wanted in the Middle Region. He did not need to fear anyone anymore. As for the recent rumor of the Great Luan sect's defeat at the Middle Region's Long River, Cheng Chao did not take it to heart. How could the small world society be compared to the Great Luan sect? Soon, the Great Luan sect would destroy the desolate nation. At that time, it would be considered as revenge for the nation. Thinking about all this, Cheng Chao could not help but feel that he should thank Du Xiaofu. If it was not for Du Xiaofu destroying the Stone Dragon Empire, Cheng Chao would not have become a martial honorable. He would not have become the sect leader of the Great Luan sect, who could shake the entire Middle Region with a stomp of his foot. Hee hee. In the main hall, Chung Chao sat on the seat of honor and laughed to himself. In front of a mountain in the golden-winged Great Rock tribe, the surroundings were no longer green. The mountain was barren, and there was a violent and destructive aura. If one were to carefully sense it, one could occasionally feel faint golden lightning flashing in the air. The seal has been destroyed, and the space will be sealed for 100 years. No one can open the seal. The tribe has tried many methods, but it was still to no avail. In front of the barren and cracked square in front of the mountain, Jialo Kailing looked at Du Xiaojing and said, "I may not be able to empathize with your current feelings, but I can understand. Xiaofu is now my brother and the young clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rock tribe. I hope that he can hold on. With his abnormal strength, I believe that there will be a miracle. After 100 years, he will naturally be born again. 100 years won't be too long. This is the place closest to my brother. Sister Kailing, let me be alone for a while." Du Xiaojing glanced at Jialo Kailing and smiled faintly. "All right." Jialo Kailing nodded. She understood this feeling. Golden light flashed under her feet, and she quietly left. Chapter 14:18. A worldly anomaly has occurred in our clan. Something extraordinary must have happened in our clan. The third elder wore a scholarly robe and looked the youngest. His eyes glowed with golden light as he looked at the sky. He asked, "Who among the younger generation has been in closed-door cultivation recently?" Third elder, "Many have been in closed-door cultivation recently." Jialo Kailing's eyes glowed with golden light. She then replied to the third elder, "Jueyu has also been in closed-door cultivation for a long time." Jueyu. The third elder looked at the sky. His scholarly robe fluttered slightly. His eyes shone with golden light. Suddenly, he looked at a long-haired old man who looked to be in his 60s. He said, "Clan leader, have you thought of?" The old man did not turn his head. He kept looking at the sky. His golden robe was embroidered with the image of a golden-winged rock. It looked like a living creature that was releasing pressure. He was the clan leader of the golden-winged rock clan, Jialo Kailing's father, Jialo Changtian. Third elder, are you also doubting it? But it's too difficult, too unbelievable. Jialo Changtian pondered for a while. He seemed to be doubting something. Even he, the clan leader of the golden-winged rock clan, had a look of disbelief on his face. It's too difficult, but Jueyu has true bones. He's a rare talent in our clan. Back then, clan leader, you almost reached it. Jueyu might have succeeded by now. I think he's the only one in the entire clan who can cause a worldly anomaly." The third elder said. His voice began to tremble. The golden light in his eyes grew brighter and brighter. "If Jueyu can really become such a supreme, it'll be a great fortune for our clan." Although Jialo Changtian was no longer young, the outline of his face was enough to show his youthful appearance. He must have been extraordinarily handsome. He raised his head to look at the storm in the sky. His gaze trembled more and more. The aura on his body was ethereal and ethereal, but it was incomparably domineering. A worldly anomaly. Could it be that Jueyu is about to succeed? Suddenly, the great elder, the second elder, the great guardian, and the other experts beside the third elder looked at each other. They seemed to have thought of something at the same time. Their eyes suddenly glowed with a golden light, and their bodies began to tremble more and more. Boom! The dark clouds in the sky grew thicker and thicker. Suddenly, a thunderclap sounded from the ground. The sound of the thunderclap reverberated in the ears of all the descendants of the golden-winged great rocks, shaking their beast souls. At this moment, all the disciples of the golden-winged great rocks looked up into the sky and trembled violently. High up in the sky, a terrifying pressure seemed to seep out from the depths of the world. The pressure was so terrifying that it caused space to tremble. It was enough to make the disciples of the golden-winged great rocks want to prostrate themselves on the ground. Screech, S. Translated S. Walala. In an instant, the dark clouds that covered the entire space suddenly shone with boundless golden light. The golden light flowed out like countless golden ribbons pouring down from the sky and hanging under the rolling dark clouds. Amidst the trembling bodies and beast souls of the golden-winged great rocks, they raised their heads to look at the sky. The blazing golden light emitted, and the image of a huge golden-winged great rock flapped its wings and soared into the sky, as if it wanted to soar into the sky. Doppelganger. That's Jueyu's doppelganger. Has Jueyu broken through to the beast region? On the mountain peak, an elder of the golden-winged great rocks could not help but speak with his trembling body. Jueyu could have broken through long ago. It's just a matter of time. However, that's not the aura of the beast region. It really isn't the aura of the beast region. The third elder's eyes flickered. He clenched his fists and stared at the gathering dark clouds in the sky. He stared at the golden-winged rock beast soul. His old face began to tremble. Under everyone's gaze, the enormous golden-winged rock doppelganger gradually shrank. It began to emit a blinding golden light. In the end, it seemed to condense into a dazzling, translucent ray of light. It swept into the depths of the dark clouds and disappeared. Screech at the same time. Just as the dazzling and translucent golden light swept into the rolling dark clouds, another cry of the golden-winged great rock resounded between heaven and earth, the sound waves piercing through the golden clouds and splitting the clouds. Rumble suddenly. The dark clouds cracked and the heavens and earth trembled. From behind the dark clouds that blotted out the sun, a 1,000-foot-long golden-winged rock appeared in the sky. Its wings were spread wide, and its entire body was glowing with golden light. Its ferocious aura spread out, causing the entire space to tremble. Above the head of the golden-winged rock's terrifying aura, there were 6 rings of light that resembled divine flames. They were like divine rings that connected the heavens and the earth. They spun endlessly, attracting the most attention. At this moment, an unprecedented pressure descended from the heavens and the earth. This pressure was peerless, and it came from the heavens and the earth. What a terrifying power! There's no way to resist it. What kind of pressure is this? I've never seen anything like it before. There's no way to resist it. The enormous golden-winged rock's true form appeared in the sky. All of the golden-winged rock clan members' beast souls prostrated themselves for no reason. Their blood boiled. This kind of pressure was impossible to resist. Screech in an instant. The cries of the golden-winged great rocks pierced through the clouds and cracked stone. Many of the golden-winged great rock's disciples could not withstand the terrifying pressure and turned into their true forms and prostrated themselves on the ground. They were worshipping the Supreme Being. Screech. In the end, those below the beast realm all urged the golden-winged rock's true form to prostrate themselves on the ground. The terrifying pressure was too strong, and there was no way to resist it. Jialo Changtian, Jialo Kaling, the first elder, and many other elders and protectors behind them all raised their heads to look at the golden-winged rock in the sky. Their eyes trembled. That kind of pressure was enough to make them tremble. Looking at the 6 rings of light above the golden-winged rock's head, emitting the supreme pressure of heaven and earth, Jialo Changtian's eyes shone with a dazzling golden light. He couldn't help but exclaim in shock, "It really is the nirvana of a supreme being." Jialo Changtian's voice wasn't loud, but it was loud enough for the golden-winged rock clan members to hear him clearly. Nirvana of a supreme being. When the words nirvana of a supreme being rang out, golden light erupted from the eyes of the surrounding figures. Waves of domineering aura of the golden-winged rock soared into the sky. Nirvana of a supreme being. Juyu is indeed the nirvana of a supreme being. The heavens are blessing our clan. The first elder exclaimed, laughing loudly on his aged face. His robe fluttered, and his voice soared into the sky, resounding through the clouds. Nirvana of a supreme being. After so many years, the golden-winged rock clan finally has another supreme being of nirvana. Looking at the enormous body of the golden-winged great rock, under the light of the 6 rings that were like divine flames, and under the irresistible pressure of a sovereign, all the experts of the golden-winged great rock race on the mountain peak trembled endlessly. Nirvana of a supreme being. The heavens are blessing our clan. Even with their cultivation strength and mental fortitude, the elders and women were so excited that they trembled with joy. They knew best what the nirvana of a supreme being represented. It was the most terrifying existence in heaven and earth, an existence that surpassed all geniuses. Chirp, chirp, the pressure descended, and the world darkened. Only the golden-winged rock's huge body was like the sun, occupying the sky. In the surrounding world, many golden-winged rocks cried out incessantly, crawling and trembling. Walala, this did not last for long. Finally, there was a faint fluctuation of golden light in the sky. The 6 divine rings of light above the golden-winged rock's forehead dissipated, and then its huge body burst out with golden light. In the end, it transformed into a tall and straight figure, appearing in the sky. The golden light and runes in the surroundings dissipated, and a young man wearing a light yellow robe with golden edges clearly appeared in the air. The young man's eyes were slightly closed, but even if he stood quietly in the sky, he was still like a flawless piece of jade. He was handsome and elegant, with a unique charm, and a supreme being had descended to the world. Chi-Chi. Under everyone's gaze, the young man's slightly closed eyes slowly opened. The golden light in his eyes was like golden lightning that shot into the sky, shaking the clouds. From that tall and straight body, a terrifying pressure was released, causing everyone's beast souls to tremble and their rock blood to boil. Greetings, Second Commander. At this moment, the entire golden-winged rock clan was in an uproar. Their shouts were like a tide, soaring into the sky and resounding through the heavens. Chapter 14:19. Jialo Jueyu stood in the air, his entire body emitting an oppressive aura like a deity. Everyone's hearts trembled in fear. However, at this moment, Jialo Jueyu had successfully undergone nirvana. He hovered in the air as if he had sensed something. The golden lightning-like light in his eyes gradually receded, but they still flickered with golden light. He stared at the sky with a puzzled expression. A nirvana sovereign. A nirvana sovereign has finally appeared in our great golden-winged rock clan. The second elder's voice trembled as he clenched his fists. His eyes were filled with emotion. He clearly knew what it meant to have a nirvana sovereign in their clan. No, Jueyu has already undergone nirvana sovereign. How can this be? At this moment, the third elder's eyes were still tightly fixed on the sky. Jialo Jueyu had already completed his nirvana, but the wind and clouds were still surging in the sky. The nirvana sovereign did not fade at all. Instead, it seemed to be growing stronger. This phenomenon was soon noticed by all the powerful individuals. Jialo Jueyu had successfully undergone nirvana sovereign, but the nirvana sovereign in the sky did not show any signs of fading. Instead, it continued to grow stronger and denser. Faintly, the oppressive aura in the sky grew stronger and more vigorous. The nirvana sovereign is still growing. What is going on? Great Protector Jialo Huanyu was astonished. Golden light rippled in his eyes. Is there someone else undergoing nirvana sovereign? The first elder frowned in surprise. He was deep in thought, unable to understand. Impossible. This aura is almost the same as before, but it is still increasing. There should be no one else in the clan who can undergo nirvana sovereign like Jueyu. The third elder shook his head. He was also deep in thought. No one else in the clan had the talent to undergo nirvana sovereign like Jialo Jueyu. Strange, how strange. Jialo Changtian was also puzzled. His eyes were filled with astonishment. Rumble. In a short period of time, as Jialo Jueyu underwent nirvanic rebirth, the dark clouds in the sky grew thicker and thicker. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The entire golden-winged rock clan began to darken. In the end, the entire space of the golden-winged great rocks suddenly turned pitch black, as if the world had suddenly sunk into darkness. A formless energy began to fluctuate between heaven and earth. The ground began to shake, and the mountains began to shake. Within the mountains, the rivers and waters began to surge. At this moment, the pressure in this world had reached a new height, causing people and beast souls to tremble uncontrollably. In the pitch-black space, countless pairs of eyes stared at the sky with a golden light in the pitch-black space, resisting the indescribable pressure. As far as everyone's eyes could see, there was only one spot in the pitch-black space where there was a golden light accompanied by some electric arcs. It was like the sun was releasing golden light, and the silver-gold electric arcs swept across the sky. All these changes caused one's soul to tremble. As the golden arc of lightning shot out, all the experts of the great golden-winged rocks in the dark space immediately looked in the direction of the light in shock. That seems to be the location of the collapsed secret realm, an elder said. The strange direction seemed to be the secret realm where the golden crow burning sky thunder was sealed. However, at this moment, the secret realm had already collapsed. What the hell is going on? None of the experts of the great golden-winged rocks knew what was going on. How could it cause such a drastic change in the sky? To the experts of the great golden-winged rocks, they naturally knew that the appearance of such a phenomenon was not ordinary. When such a phenomenon occurred, it was bound to be extraordinary. In this world, what could be called extraordinary only existed in legends. For example, the Nirvana Sovereign only existed in legends. Today, Jialo Jueyu's achievement of the Nirvana Sovereign had already shocked the entire great golden-winged rocks. But now, the phenomenon was still ongoing, and the reason was still unknown. All the experts of the great golden-winged rocks couldn't help but be stunned. Rumble. In the pitch-black world, the entire space of the golden-winged great rocks started to rumble and shake. A surge of silver-gold lightning arcs and an invisible golden light shot up into the sky from the front, resonating with the lightning and thunder in the thick, dark clouds in the sky. They shot up into the sky and instantly covered the entire sky. Such a phenomenon is even more powerful than Jueyu's Nirvana Sovereign earlier. Is there anything more extraordinary than the Nirvana Sovereign? An old man from the golden-winged Great Pung clan couldn't help but exclaim in shock. The pressure was even more terrifying than when Jialo Jueyu had undergone nirvanic rebirth. Even beast region cultivators were affected by it. What kind of natural phenomenon was this? There really is something more extraordinary than the Nirvana Sovereign. It's rumored that there is more than one type of Nirvana Sovereign. Suddenly, Jialo Changtian seemed to have thought of something. He looked at the flickering silver-gold arcs of lightning in the pitch-black sky and blurted out. All the experts in the surroundings trembled when they heard that. They all looked towards Jialo Changtian. "Father, is there any other type of Nirvana Sovereign?" Jialo Kaling asked. She had heard of the Nirvana Sovereign before, but even with her talent, she couldn't reach that step. It was rumored that when her father broke through to the beast domain, he almost reached the Nirvana Sovereign. But in the end, he was just a hair's breadth away and failed. Jialo Kaling had always thought that her talent wasn't inferior to Jialo Jueyu's. But after seeing Jialo Jueyu's Nirvana Sovereign, Jialo Kaling knew that she was still a hair's breadth away. The Nirvana Sovereign was the best test. Everyone looked over and listened to Jialo Kaling's question. Jialo Changtian was still looking at the sky. The pattern of the great golden-winged rocks on his golden robe was releasing pressure like a living creature. Phew, taking a deep breath, Jialo Changtian said, "The primordial unity chi is an endless cycle. A flower is a flower, then a flower is no longer a flower. Everyone thinks that the end of the primordial unity chi is the Nirvana realm. The Nirvana realm is the end, but they can't comprehend the primordial unity chi. The wonder of the primordial unity chi is that there is one. One word is infinite, and one word is infinite. 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 Listening to Jialo Changtian's words, the experts of the great golden winged rocks on the mountain peak seemed to have understood. Their eyes flickered with golden light. The greater Nirvana Sovereign is the ultimate Nirvana Sovereign. On the mountain peak, many faces were instantly filled with deep shock. It was as if the words Nirvana of a great sovereign had descended, bringing along a pressure that caused everyone to tremble. The higher one's cultivation was, the more they could feel the pressure of the heavens and earth from those words. In the legends, the nirvana of the great paragon is the ultimate paragon. Only the most peerless creatures in this world have a chance of stepping into it. In my golden-winged great Pong bird clan, who is more talented than Jialo Jueyu and can step into the legendary nirvana of the great paragon. The Grand Elder's eyes trembled as he looked up at the pressure coming from the heavens. There was surprise, astonishment, and anticipation in his eyes. The greater Nirvana Sovereign was already a legend. The greater Nirvana Sovereign was even more of a legend. If there was someone among the great golden-winged rocks who could step into the greater Nirvana Sovereign, then the heavens would definitely bless the great golden-winged rocks. If the greater and lesser Nirvana Sovereign appeared, then the great elder was willing to sacrifice his life to help the great golden-winged rocks. He only hoped that the great golden-winged rocks would be able to dominate the world. Yes, there is someone in our great golden-winged rocks who is more powerful than Jialo Jueyu. If there is someone among our great golden-winged rocks who can achieve the legendary greater Nirvana Sovereign, then it's him. Jialo Changtian looked at the sky and clenched his fists. His eyes started to tremble. Who else in our great golden-winged rocks? Are you talking about Jueyu? Let's not talk about whether he's talented or not. He's not in the great golden-winged rocks anymore. Everyone looked at Jialo Changtian in confusion. The second elder asked Jialo Changtian, Jialo Jueyu is not enough. Jialo Changtian looked at the sky. He knew that his unfilial son's talent was not inferior to Jialo Jueyu. However, achieving the greater Nirvana Sovereign was not enough. Jialo Changtian paused and clenched his fists. Suddenly, he flicked his sleeves and pointed at the sky. Golden lights shot out from his eyes as he looked at the sky and said, Have you forgotten that I, Jialo Changtian, have an adopted son? Look, that movement is coming from the secret territory. There's the chi of the golden crow burning sky thunder. As everyone expected, he's still alive. If there is someone who can achieve the greater Nirvana Sovereign, then he's the only one in this world who has that kind of talent. Jialo Changtian's words were sonorous and ear-piercing. As the last word left his mouth, a vast golden light came from the depths of Jialo Changtian's eyes and spread out in all directions from his domineering and majestic body, causing the sky to tremble. Du Xiaofu. When they heard Jialo Changtian's words, the experts of the Golden-Winged Rocks clan on the mountain trembled violently. They immediately looked in the direction of the movement. Boom! At the same time, the power in the sky had reached its peak. Under everyone's gaze, a golden light shot out from the direction of the collapsed secret territory and swept across the sky. That beam of golden light shook away the thick, dark clouds and released a dazzling golden light. Dazzling silver-gold electric arcs spread out in all directions. Chapter 1420. At this moment, a terrifying scene appeared in the entire space. A vast and majestic energy of heaven and earth exploded in the sky. The earth quaked and the mountains shook as if the world was about to collapse. Rumble. All the disciples of the great golden-winged rock clan looked up. A terrifying aura emanated from the direction of the collapsing secret realm. It was as if space itself was about to be destroyed. Golden arcs of lightning shot up into the sky. Rumble. Golden arcs of lightning shot out. The dazzling golden arcs of lightning enveloped the entire sky above the great golden-winged rock clan. The golden light spread out, and the world trembled violently once again. Under the dazzling golden arcs of lightning, the space trembled. The thick, dark clouds were torn apart, and a dazzling silver-gold arc of lightning appeared in the sky. At the same time, a vast power of the soul swept out in all directions like a hurricane with monstrous waves. An illusionary figure suddenly appeared in the sky. What a powerful origin spirit energy! Sensing the strength and vastness of the soul and origin spirit energy, the elders and protectors of the great golden-winged rock clan on the mountain peak were all shocked. When the vast soul and origin spirit energy swept out, Jialo Jueyu's eyes suddenly shone with golden light as she looked up into the sky. Look, that's Du Xiaofu. It's really Du Xiaofu. No, that's the body of a origin spirit. That's Du Xiaofu's origin spirit body. Has that guy broken through to become a 9-star spirit symbol master or a martial domain realm cultivator? That kid is really a miracle. He didn't die. Even the golden crow sky burning lightning can't do anything to him. Miracle. That kid is a miracle. He didn't die. Under the vast soul and origin spirit energy, the elders and protectors of the great golden-winged rock clan on the mountain peak were in an uproar. That guy is indeed abnormal. Even the golden crow sky burning lightning can't do anything to him. Looking at the slightly illusory figure wrapped in silver gold arcs of lightning in the sky, Jalo Kaling's beautiful eyes rippled with golden light. A smile appeared on her beautiful and valiant face. It doesn't seem like it. Although it's a soul formation, its aura doesn't seem like it's at the 9th star or domain realm. The third elder's scholarly robes fluttered in the wind, and his golden eyes were suffused with doubt on his aged face. Origin spirit energy. How can that kid's origin spirit energy is so terrifying? It contains spirit energies, spirit energies. It is that spirit energy? The first elder's face as he looked was the great elders gazing into the sky. The origin spirit body's origin spirit body, that's the origin spirit body. The God soul origins, that's origin spirit body. S silver was to Nilu, to you, to origin, to the origin's origin. The soul floated in the sky at this moment. Vast and vigorous soul power and pressure swept out in all directions like a wave with the soul at the center. At this moment, apart from the martial domain realm cultivators, the rest of the disciples of the great golden-winged rock clan could feel the intense origin spirit energy. The origin spirit energy was no less powerful than Jalo Jueyu's nirvana. The surrounding disciples of the great golden-winged rock clan couldn't help but tremble and prostrate themselves. What a strong origin spirit energy! How can Du Xiaofu's origin spirit be so abnormal? It's unbelievable that a human's origin spirit could be so strong. Second elder's elderly face was already filled with astonishment as his body trembled. The strength of the Yuan spirit, which contained the pressure of several supreme being, caused him to feel a little apprehensive. It is indeed strong. I'm afraid that the origin spirit energy of an ordinary 9-star initial domain spiritual talisman master can't be compared to 5. Great Guardian Jialo Huanyu rarely spoke. His face was filled with astonishment. It's not just 5. Compared to the origin spirit energy, even 10 ordinary 9-star initial domain spiritual talisman masters can't be compared to Du Xiaofu's origin spirit energy. Just the spiritual thunder in Du Xiaofu's origin spirit energy contains several types of spirit energy. The great elder spoke. His old and virtuous face suddenly froze. He stared at Du Xiaofu's origin spirit body in the sky, as if he had seen something unbelievable. He said in a trembling voice, "That's not right. That kid's origin spirit body seems to have the aura of the golden crow sky burning thunder. Could it be? It doesn't seem like it. That's the aura of the golden crow sky burning thunder. Du Xiaofu must have integrated with the soul seed of the golden crow sky burning thunder. He already has 2 spirit thunders in his body." The third elder directly interrupted the first elder's words and directly confirmed the answer. Not only is Du Xiaofu fine, he even integrated with the soul seed of the golden crow sky burning thunder. The experts of the golden-winged Great Peng clan on the mountain peak felt the aura of the golden crow sky burning thunder in Du Xiaofu's origin spirit. Their faces were so shocked that they almost twisted. Boom. All of this happened in an extremely short period of time. As Du Xiaofu's origin spirit body appeared in the sky, the surrounding area shook even more violently in the next moment. Right in front of Du Xiaofu's immortal soul, a patch of brilliant golden talisman runes spread out once again. After that, they evolved, arranged, and derived in the sky. In the end, they transformed into a golden phantom of a 5-fingered mountain. The phantom of the 5-fingered golden mountain released a dazzling golden light. It shone brightly, and an endless aura swept across the sky. Rumble. At this moment, the entire golden-winged Great Peng clan didn't know what was going on. The mountains and earth were rumbling. The continuous mountain peaks were trembling nonstop, and the rivers were rolling up huge waves. The phantom of the five-fingered mountain only appeared for an instant. Then, it turned into a golden redbone horse monkey. The redbone horse monkey shone with golden light. Its eyes were lively. It faced Du Xiaofu's origin spirit body from afar. The supreme aura it released was like the beginning of the world. It was hazy and chaotic. Its aura wasn't any weaker than the latter's. In the universe, there are heaven, earth, God, man, and ghost. There are also Ho, scale, hair, feather, and insect. There are also the four chaotic monkeys that aren't heaven, earth, God, man, or ghost. They aren't Ho, scale, hair, feather, or insect. The redbone horse monkey is one of them. That's Du Xiaofu's origin spirit. That's the redbone horse monkey. At this moment, all the elders and protectors of the golden-winged Great Peng clan on the mountain peak trembled. That golden ape was one of the legendary four chaotic monkeys, the redbone horse monkey. Just as everyone's gazes trembled, another shocking change occurred in the sky. Du Xiaofu's vain soul red pheasant monkey and his yuan spirit body, which was wrapped by silver gold lightning arcs, were actually slowly approaching. In the next instant, as the redbone horse monkey and Du Xiaofu's yuan spirit bodies approached each other, the silver gold lightning wrapped around them. With every step the ancient and majestic yuan spirit body took, the resplendent lightning body would shrink a little. When Du Xiaofu's origin spirit body finally approached the origin spirit body, it had already turned into the size of an infant. It also became increasingly resplendent. Then, under countless shocked gazes, the resplendent origin spirit body directly rushed into the redbone horse monkey's forehead and disappeared in an instant. Just as Du Xiaofu's origin spirit body entered the origin spirit body of the redbone horse monkey, the redbone horse monkey's body trembled slightly. Then, it closed its eyes and floated in the air, as if it had suddenly become sluggish. However, at this moment, all the disciples of the golden-winged Great Peng clan could feel that the pressure emanating from the golden ape's body was quietly rising. The pressure that continued to rise seemed to have made all the elders and protectors of the golden-winged Great Peng clan on the mountain peak feel something. For a moment, everyone's bodies trembled slightly. Everyone raised their heads and looked towards the sky. Chapter 1421. Chi. When the redbone horse monkey opened its eyes once again, golden light soared into the sky. Endless dazzling golden light poured out from its pair of golden eyes like a waterfall. Accompanied by the dazzling silver gold lightning arcs and mysterious runes, it was as if the sun was in the sky, causing the entire space to tremble violently, as if it wanted to suppress and destroy the surrounding heaven and earth. Whoosh! At this moment, the pressure that was rising from the redbone horse monkey's body had finally reached its peak. A powerful life aura began to erupt, connecting with the heavens and earth. It gave off a feeling as though the heavens and earth had just been created, and all living things had just begun. The surrounding space rippled violently. The terrifying aura seemed to be able to push in all directions and suppress everything. At this moment, golden light filled the sky. Electric arcs wreaked havoc, dispersing the rolling dark clouds. The earth below shook, and the sky cracked. It was as if the world was in turmoil, shaking one's soul. At this moment, the redbone horse monkey released a dazzling golden light. Endless aura swept across the sky, and it even carried the power of a sovereign yuan spirit. It was as if a sovereign had been born. Rumble. At this moment, for some unknown reason, the mountains and earth in the entire golden-winged Great Rock tribe rumbled endlessly. The terrifying aura caused the space to rumble. Air waves surged into the sky like a vast ocean, like a golden rainbow across the sky, and electric arcs surged, causing the mountains to rumble endlessly. It was as if the world was going to be turned upside down. His yuan spirit and pulse spirit have successfully merged into one. This is a monster. Feeling the earth-shaking sovereign aura in the surroundings, the eyes of all the elders and protectors of the golden-winged Great Rock tribe on the mountain peak trembled. Low murmurs with shock quietly sounded. Since ancient times, countless martial and talisman practitioners have tried to merge the pulse spirit with the body of a yuan spirit, but no one has succeeded. Du Xiaofu has done it. His Yuan spirit and Pulse spirit have merged into one. What is that fellow trying to do? What a powerful pressure. In the future, will it be the Pulse spirit or the Yuan spirit? This is a monster. On the mountain peak, all the elders and protectors of the golden-winged great rock tribe trembled. On the mountain peak, Jialo Changtian looked at the sky and murmured softly, "The chaos unity chi. The wonder is that there is a limit to the word. One is the origin of all things. There is nothing outside of it. There is nothing inside of it. One is the small one. Nothing, nothing. I understand. I finally understand." While muttering, Jialo Changtian's eyes suddenly flashed with golden ripples. His voice trembled as he laughed loudly, "Ha ha, a monster. That kid really is a monster. He did it. He really did it. Patriarch, Patriarch, what's wrong with that kid?" Great Elder asked in surprise when he heard Patriarch Jialo Changtian's bitter smile. The golden-winged great rock tribe rock of the rock tribe great road dragon great rock tribe. Jialo Changtian stared at the red-boned stallion's body in the sky. His eyes trembled as he said, "If I'm not wrong, that brat's soul and Yuan Shan are one. His Yuan Shan is the Tao, and he is one with the Tao. Everything is big, and he has achieved the nirvana of a great supreme." Can I really achieve the nirvana of a grand supreme? Hearing this, all the elders on the mountain peak were excited. The nirvana of a greater sovereign was a legend among legends. Once a greater sovereign successfully underwent nirvana, what did it mean? The more they knew about it, the more they knew how terrifying and shocking it was. Chila, the world shook as golden lightning arcs wreaked havoc. Under everyone's stunned gazes, a figure wrapped in golden light stealthily appeared in the air under the astonishing red-boned horse monkey's body. That figure slowly appeared without a sound. His figure was tall and straight as he walked step by step through the air and walked up into the sky. He was clearly walking alone, but at this moment, he was like a rock spreading its wings, as if he was going to soar into the sky and soar into the sky. At this moment, a divine ring of light that seemed like 7 divine flames revolved around the forehead of that figure, and it emanated boundlessly powerful and domineering pressure. Divine light glowed brilliantly, and it was like a divine miracle. Moreover, an exalted aura suffused the surroundings and suppressed the heavens and the earth. The 7 divine fire-like rings of light were one more ring than Jialo Jueyu's previous 6 divine rings. Countless gazes were forced to raise their heads under the immense pressure. That figure seemed to be soaring up into the sky. That figure was not Du Xiaofu. Who else could it be? It's him. It's Du Xiaofu. Suddenly, the entire clan of the golden-winged rocks couldn't help but exclaim in shock. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's tall and straight body, the 7 divine fire-like rings of light, began to quietly appear on his forehead, the 8th ring. The pressure continued to increase, and under the 8 divine fire-like rings of light, it was as if the world was sinking. The 8th ring, no, it's the 9th ring. The 9th ring has appeared. Great Elder Gao Dezhao's eyes trembled and he clenched his fists. Above the tall and straight figure that was soaring into the sky, a 9th divine ring silently appeared on the 8th divine ring that was like a divine flame. At this moment, the tall and straight golden figure stood together with my Hun. They stood proudly in the sky, as if they could look down on the world. At this moment, high up in the sky, a new and powerful aura spread out from Du Xiaofu's tall and straight body. The aura was incomparably powerful, and it swept through the sky. At this moment, it was as if something had been awakened in the entire golden-winged rocks. Boom! In the mountains of the earth, there was a strange rumbling sound that came from afar, as if it was about to rush out from the dark underground. In the pitch-black space, only the lightning and thunder in the sky illuminated the sky. From the sky above, it was as if the 9 heavens had suddenly split open a huge crack. Walala! Rays of golden light instantly shot down from the crack in the sky, distorting the surrounding space. Accompanied by a majestic aura and heavenly might, It finally connected to the sky and transformed into a resplendent golden pillar of light that enveloped the tall and straight figure and the red-bone horse monkey. Looking from afar, one could see that in the sky, there was a golden space-time tunnel connected to the tall and straight figure and the red-bone horse monkey's body. The tall and straight figure's eyes were tightly shut as he stood in the air, as if he was about to soar into the sky. The red-bone horse monkey raised its head to the sky, and its eyes shot out golden light. Then, it transformed into a resplendent golden light that quietly swept into the forehead of the tall and straight figure and disappeared. In the dusky world, only the tall and straight figure and the golden pillar of light that were connected to each other illuminated the world. Everything was like a miracle. The golden pillar of light in the sky was like a resplendent golden sun. Waves of heaven and earth energy gathered from all directions, condensing towards the tall and straight figure. A terrifying fluctuation erupted from the tall and straight figure, causing the surroundings to change color as it connected to the nine heavens. Boom, 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 boom. At this moment, the entire great golden-winged rocks were surrounded by pitch-black lightning and thunder. Dark clouds rolled, space surged, and mountain ranges shook. Fierce thunder resounded in the clear sky and did not dissipate for a long time. The rivers and lakes churned like a tsunami. The great golden-winged rocks screeched and roared in all directions. Everyone was shocked for no reason. Under the mighty might of the heavens, all living things were suppressed. At this moment, in a certain place in this world, there was a vast and boundless plain that was as vast as the Milky Way. Clouds and mist lingered everywhere, as if they had reached the end of this world. Time seemed to have frozen in this place. Time seemed to have lost its meaning in this place. The atmosphere was cold and silent. In the vast plain, there was a huge circle from afar. The arc in the middle was divided into two, forming the two extremes of yin and yang. It was faintly discernible, but no one could see it, because this seemed to be a pure land that did not belong to the human world. All living things could not set foot in it. Clouds drifted in the sky, and a palace floated in the air. This huge palace did not have anything to lift it up, nor were there any traces of talisman or rays. It floated in the air miraculously like a miracle. A middle-aged man in a plain robe stood outside the palace with his hands behind his back. He stood there quietly, unable to conceal his ethereal temperament. He stood there quietly, and his every move was naturally integrated with the space of the earth. It was as if he was the ruler of this world. Nirvana of a great sovereign. You are the third one. The demons have appeared, and Kyushu is in chaos. The great calamity is coming. There is not much time left. Kid, I hope you can still make it in time. Don't let me down. Suddenly, the middle-aged man raised his head slightly and looked at the sky. Faint runes flashed in his eyes. The silent fluctuation of aura caused the space to tremble quietly. Rumble. In the great golden-winged rocks, the sky darkened. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, and the heavenly might suppress the surroundings. Swoosh, swoosh. In this world, many illusory figures stepped into the void at this moment. These illusory figures were the most powerful existences in the world. The illusory figures calculated with their fingers and then looked at the sky. Their eyes were filled with shock. Only they, the most powerful existences in the world, could feel the changes in the world. This is the third vision of heaven and earth from the great golden-winged rocks. What happened? Did someone break through to the St. Martial realm? Or is it something else? There is a vision of heaven and earth in the great golden-winged rocks. Investigate this matter with all your might. Ancient voices reverberated in the world before disappearing. Chapter 1422. Translator. Nyoibo Studio Editor. Nyoibo Studio Heavens? What's going on? Such a heaven and earth anomaly is much more powerful than the one caused by the second commander. This pressure is too strong. I can't resist it. Everyone in the golden-winged Great Rock Clan was shocked. All the golden-winged Great Rock Clan's cultivators below the Beast Region realm were trembling in fear. Even the golden-winged Great Rock Clan's battle servants couldn't withstand the pressure and knelt down on one knee. Everyone struggled to raise their heads and looked at the scene in the sky. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. This is the nirvana of a grand sovereign. It has caused the heavenly might to shake. An old voice murmured in shock. A stumbling figure quietly appeared on the mountain peak. It was the old lady. "Greetings, sacred elder." As the old lady appeared, the great elder, second elder, and the other elders and protectors on the mountain peak bowed respectfully. "Greetings, grandmother." Jalo Kaling walked forward and supported the old lady. "Mother, why are you here? Aren't you going to go into seclusion for 100 years? Jalo Changtian looked away from the sky. However, he was still shocked. He knew that his mother's arrival had something to do with Du Xiaofu's nirvana of a grand sovereign. "My grandson is undergoing nirvana of a grand sovereign. How can I still go into seclusion in peace? It seems like my grandson is really blessed by the heavens." The old lady nodded at Jalo Changtian. She waved her hand to signal the elders and protectors to dispense with the formalities. She looked up at the sky. Her eyes weren't calm and were fluctuating violently. She said softly with a trembling voice, "The nirvana of a grand sovereign is a blessing from the heavens. There are many people behind my grandson. Seal the news temporarily and don't leak it out to prevent others from having ideas." "Yes." Jalo Changtian nodded at the old lady and continued looking up at the sky. The experts of the golden-winged Great Rock clan on the mountain peak understood the old lady's words. The nirvana of a grand sovereign was definitely a blessing from the heavens. The nirvana of lesser sovereign Jalo Jueyu was already a legend. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was allowing the great paragon of the golden-winged Great Rocks to undergo nirvana. Given the relationship between Du Xiaofu and the golden-winged Great Rocks, it was undoubtedly equivalent to the golden-winged Great Rocks having two paragons, one small and one large. If this news were to spread, not to mention the other secluded clans and races, just the Dragon Clan alone would go crazy. Fortunately, I didn't directly. Fifth Elder Jalo Yuantu's shocked old face revealed an embarrassed smile. He was so excited that his whole body was trembling. Thinking about how he had almost crippled that Grand Supremacy Nirvana guy in the sky, Fifth Elder Jalo Yuantu smiled bitterly. Many elders and protectors in the surroundings had the same thoughts as Fifth Elder Jalo Yuantu back then. Hearing this, they couldn't help but smile bitterly. At that time, they didn't specifically target Du Xiaofu. As members of the golden-winged Great Rocks, they really couldn't tolerate a human possessing the remains of the golden-winged Great Rocks. In the future, if anyone dares to touch this guy, I will be the first to exterminate their entire clan. Fifth Elder Jalo Yuantu smiled embarrassedly and suddenly spoke. His eyes were sharp and overbearing, shooting out golden light. All the golden-winged Great Rocks on the mountain peak didn't speak. Jalo Kailing, Fourth Elder Jalo Yi, and the others looked at Fifth Elder Jalo Yuantu and could only smile helplessly. But at this moment, everyone's expression showed that they all agreed with Fifth Elder Jalo Yuantu's words. This was the attitude of the Fifth Elder, and also the attitude of the entire golden-winged Great Rocks at this moment. Rumble. The world was still shaking violently. The energy of heaven and earth condensed into the golden light pillar, and the shaking of the world became more and more intense. It wasn't difficult for everyone to feel that within the world, waves of rich energy were constantly seeping out of the world, and then unceasingly surging toward Du Xiaofu, who was enveloped in golden light. The heavenly might surged, suppressing all living things. The astonishing energy of heaven and earth whistled, completely enveloping and condensing toward Du Xiaofu. High in the sky, golden light glittered, lightning flashed, and thunder roared. It was an extremely spectacular sight. Looking at the tall and straight figure at this moment, which was like a miracle, the pressure that faintly pervaded the air made all the disciples of the golden-winged Great Rocks tremble in fear. Under the condensation of the energy of heaven and earth, a majestic aura burst out of Du Xiaofu's body like an awakened peerless beast, accompanied by lightning and thunder, and a majestic and mighty pressure that swept out in all directions. What a powerful aura! Many golden-winged Great Rocks stared at the sky and muttered in shock. The golden light pillar poured down from the 9 heavens, connecting the 9 heavens and condensing the energy of heaven and earth in all directions, connecting with Du Xiaofu. The energy of heaven and earth and the pressure condensed, becoming more and more concentrated and frenzied. It began to emit deafening rumbles, and wind and thunder roared. Under the dusky sky, only Du Xiaofu alone was like a god, receiving the baptism of the golden light, connecting with heaven and earth, and golden light suddenly appeared around his body. Standing in the air between heaven and earth, his tall and straight figure was surging with pressure, and his aura was something that the disciples of the golden-winged great rocks had never seen before. That aura was something that even the most supreme of supreme beings would have to prostrate on the ground. At this moment, in front of Du Xiaofu, it was like a peerless great rocks, madly devouring the energy of heaven and earth in all directions. Not long after, the energy of heaven and earth in the surroundings became denser and denser. Lightning flashed and thunder roared in the sky, and the world rumbled and shook, causing the dark clouds in the sky to thicken even more. Boom! The mighty heavens might also surged, and all the golden-winged great rocks below all prostrated and roared. At this moment, the surging heavenly might had already attracted the entire space of the golden-winged great rocks. A majestic aura also spread out from the 9 heavens, causing the entire world to tremble. The vast and mighty pressure was not ordinary to the point of shaking one's soul. Hey, look at what Du Xiaofu is doing. Suddenly, the great guardian, Jialo Huanyu, exclaimed. The powerful cultivators on the mountain peak had already noticed it. At this moment, the energy of heaven and earth in the golden light pillar that connected the 9 heavens and drew the energy of heaven and earth from all directions. Unknowingly, Du Xiaofu had already started to sit cross-legged in the golden light pillar in the sky. Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, channeled the heavens might of heaven and earth around him. There was a mysterious fluctuation of mysterious runes on the surface of his body that seemed to be releasing a kind of spiritual aura and overflowing with multicolored light. The light was gorgeous and moving, and it was shockingly bright. In the haze, Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged at this moment, gave off the feeling that a deity had just descended to the world, and a supreme being had just been born. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was sitting cross-legged in the golden light pillar, and his entire body was glowing. There was a dazzling and mysterious radiance surging out from his body, and it dyed the surrounding dark clouds with countless mysterious runes. He's comprehending the grand supreme nirvana profundity. He's undergoing the supreme nirvana profundity, the old lady said excitedly. Rumble. Finally, under such a miraculous change, the thunderclouds in the sky became thicker, and the sound of thunder rumbled endlessly. The churning dark clouds started to spit out a kind of electric arc continuously. The electric arc was very strange, and it had a kind of beautiful purple-gold color. An unusually terrifying heaven and earth's might of heaven and earth surged out and filled the sky. The appearance of this kind of heaven and earth's might made all the golden-winged rocks feel like ants in front of an elephant, and they felt very powerless. Time passed very quickly, and as the purple-gold electric arc spat out, the thick, dark clouds in the sky were dyed purple-gold. Along with the mysterious runes in the dark clouds, the entire space started to tremble. Crackle! In the next moment, a series of crackling sounds resounded, and purple-gold electric arcs instantly spread out, converging at a speed that seemed like teleportation and filled the entire sky. In an instant, the purple-gold electric arcs flickered and suddenly turned into purple-gold thunderbolts that rushed out of the dark clouds. Crackle! Dazzling electric arcs poured down, as if countless purple-gold thunderbolts were descending from the sky. They were densely packed and enveloped the entire space of the golden-winged rocks. The closer they were to Du Xiaofu, who was in mid-air, the denser the electric arcs were. Oh no, that brat is going to exterminate my clan. Just as the terrifying heaven and earth's might of thunder descended, countless purple-gold thunderbolts poured down, and at this moment, all the powerful golden-winged rocks on the mountain peak felt a tremor in their hearts. In the face of the shocking heaven and earth's might of thunder, even their beast souls were trembling. As for the disciples below, who had already been suppressed to the point of revealing their true forms of the golden-winged rocks, They could not even lift their heads in the face of the shocking heaven and earth's might of thunder. Crackle. In a short moment, the purple-gold dark clouds churned, and then the sound of thunder streaking across the dark sky, accompanied by streaks of purple-gold thunderbolts and mysterious runes, began to descend like a storm. Wherever these thunderbolts and mysterious runes passed, the space immediately became distorted, as if a thunderstorm was raging in the golden-winged rocks territory. Oh no, is the clan going to be exterminated? Oh no, did this cause a heaven and earth anomaly, or did it incur the wrath of the heavens? Oh no, Du Xiaofu is too monstrous, and he has attracted the wrath of the heavens. Quickly hide. Under the terrifying heavens' might of thunder, many huge golden-winged rocks trembled, and even their beast souls were trembling, revealing looks of horror. But at this moment, under the immense heaven and earth's might of thunder, they did not even have the will to hide, and they could not even move. However, at this moment, the powerful golden-winged rocks on the mountain peak seemed to have felt something amiss in the mighty heaven and earth's might of thunder that was pouring down on the entire golden-winged rocks territory. Although they were shocked, they did not feel fear. Although the terrifying heaven and earth's might of thunder rolled, the aura contained within the terrifying heaven and earth's might of thunder was boundless, mysterious, and vast, without any violence or destruction. A supreme being monstrous. This old woman has lived for so long, and I've finally seen a supreme being legend. This is the supreme being thunderstorm, and it will bless the entire golden-winged rocks tribe. Chapter 1423. What a supreme monster! I've lived for so long, and I've finally seen a supreme legend. That's a supreme thunderstorm that will bless our entire golden-winged Great Peng clan. At this moment, the old lady took a step into the air and waved her sleeves. Her ancient eyes shone brightly, and her stumbling body trembled. Suddenly, her loud voice reverberated throughout the entire golden-winged Great Peng clan. All clan members, don't panic. This is a supreme thunderstorm that can only be summoned by a greater supreme nirvana. It contains the aura of a greater supreme nirvana, and contains the profound meaning of heaven and earth. If you can obtain the baptism of the supreme thunderstorm, you will obtain endless benefits. This is a peerless opportunity that can only be encountered by chance. If you miss it, it will be difficult to obtain a second chance in this lifetime. What? This is a peerless opportunity? The supreme thunderstorm contains the aura of a greater supreme nirvana, and contains the profound meaning of heaven and earth. Quick, obtain the baptism of the supreme thunderstorm. As the old lady's voice reverberated throughout the entire golden-winged Great Peng clan, the eyes of all the golden-winged Great Peng clan members and battle servants instantly turned red. Golden light erupted, and under the crushing pressure of heaven's might, they flapped their wings with all their might and flew up to receive the baptism of the supreme thunderstorm. Charge! This is a peerless opportunity. A truly great opportunity. We can't miss it. Figures rushed out one after another, screaming and roaring. They flapped their wings and raised their heads, looking for the most advantageous position to receive the baptism of the supreme thunderstorm. At this moment, even Jialo Kaling and Jialo Jueyu's figures had already appeared in advantageous positions. They had also activated their true forms, and were receiving the baptism of the supreme thunderstorm. Dazzling purple-gold lightning fell, not carrying destruction. It contained the aura of a greater supreme nirvana, and contained the profound meaning of heaven and earth. This was a supreme thunderstorm, a great opportunity. Monster, Du Xiaofu, that guy is a monster. On the mountain peak, an elder cried out in surprise. Damn it, this is too much, too heaven-defying. Du Xiaofu, that brat. Isn't he playing a little too much this time? Fifth elder Jialo Yuantu said. On the mountain peak, all the experts of the golden-winged great rocks were dumbfounded. All the elders and protectors were dumbfounded. Under the supreme lightning rain, the experts of the golden-winged great rocks could no longer remain calm. It was one thing for Du Xiaofu to have a strong physical body, but it was even stronger than a real golden-winged rock. Du Xiaofu not only had a strong physical body, but his primordial spirit had also fused with at least 3 types of spiritual lightning. Now, he had even fused with the golden crow burning sky thunder of the golden-winged great rocks. That was one thing, but Du Xiaofu's vain spirit was still the red-bone horse monkey. If that was the case, it would have been fine, but Du Xiaofu just now had miraculously fused the scarlet nightmare monkey's soul with his nascent divinity. However, just as Jialo Jueyu's successful nirvanic rebirth shocked the entire golden-winged great rocks, Du Xiaofu came with another great autarka's nirvanic rebirth. A human with such heavenly talent, such monstrous and abnormal talent, this was simply unheard of. On the mountain peak, the elderly figures of the golden-winged great rocks were filled with shock and astonishment. The heavens are blessing our clan. To be able to see our clan produce a grand supreme in my lifetime, this life of mine is enough. Great Elder spoke. That year on Gao de Zhao's aged face, his golden eyes were moist, tears of excitement, tears of joy. That brat was picked up by Kaling, right? The heavens are blessing our clan. The heavens are taking care of our clan. The second elder clenched his fists in excitement, his entire body trembling, his eyes red. Fortunately, you didn't destroy this brat back then. Otherwise, I would have never let you off. The third elder Jialo Yuantu trembled, and couldn't help but shake the fifth elder Jialo Yuantu beside him. Hee, back then, I was just testing him. That brat is now a descendant of our golden-winged great rocks. He cultivates the cultivation method of our golden-winged great rocks, and the blood of our golden-winged great rocks flows in his body. If anyone dares to say that he isn't a descendant of our golden-winged great rocks, I won't let them off. The fifth elder Jialo Yuantu smiled embarrassedly. At this moment, his old body was no less excited than anyone else, and his eyes were blazing with golden light. The supreme lightning rain continued to pour down. High up in the sky, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged within the golden pillar of light with his eyes closed. His entire body was sparkling, releasing divine light. The birth of a supreme, a miracle in the sky. All the descendants and battle servants of the golden-winged great rocks were bathing in the supreme lightning rain's baptism. In the end, even the elders and protectors couldn't help but join the ranks of the baptism. The nirvana of a grand supreme had attracted a supreme lightning rain, allowing the entire golden-winged great rocks to obtain a great opportunity. This supreme lightning rain lasted for a total of 3 days and 3 nights before gradually coming to an end. For 3 days and 3 nights, the supreme lightning rain poured down, and all the descendants of the golden-winged great rocks were baptized, obtaining endless benefits. Even many of the battle servants of the golden-winged great rocks had obtained great opportunities this time and benefited immensely. After 3 days and 3 nights, all the lightning flashes, thunder rolls, and heavenly anomalies began to quietly disperse. Chi. The powerhouses of the golden-winged great rocks were the first to open their eyes, which were overflowing with golden light. The huge golden-winged great rocks slowly withdrew their true forms, and their eyes were surging with excitement. They were the clearest about the benefits they had obtained from the supreme lightning rain in these 3 days. As the golden-winged great rocks released their true forms and withdrew their golden light, they all turned their gazes towards the sky at the same time. Above the firmament, the dark clouds had already dispersed. High up in the firmament, a mysterious figure sat cross-legged. His entire body was sparkling and translucent, and divine light flowed, but his eyes were still tightly shut. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was quietly sitting cross-legged high up in the firmament, but for some reason, everyone could feel a powerful aura from him. The figure that sat cross-legged gave off a vast and majestic feeling, and a supreme aura spread out in all directions. For some reason, it caused the heavens and earth to quietly tremble, like the rise and fall of the sea. Regardless of whether the descendants of the golden-winged great rocks had a high or low cultivation, at this moment, the pressure that seeped out from the heavens and earth was no longer present. However, they still felt fear and endless pressure. This kind of pressure no longer came from the heavens and earth, but from the body that was sitting cross-legged. At this moment, the youth was quietly sitting cross-legged in the firmament. He looked ordinary, but for some reason, he gave off a feeling that the surrounding light dimmed. Only he was the most eye-catching, and he gave off the aura of a newly born sovereign. The gazes of all the disciples and combat servants of the golden-winged rock clan below trembled violently in their hearts. At this moment, all of them were able to sense that the young man who sat cross-legged on the ground had imperceptibly undergone a tremendous change when compared to over a year ago. The more one carefully sensed the invisible aura emanating from the young man sitting cross-legged, the more one felt that it was completely different from the past. It lacked the peerless tyranny and sharpness of the past, and instead, it was more plain and ordinary. However, it just so happened that it gave people the feeling that he had returned to his original state, that he could look down on everyone and look down on everyone. The invisible sense of disdain after returning to his original state made the souls of some of the descendants of the golden-winged great rocks tremble. They had no choice but to lower their heads as if they were worshipping him. They were unable to raise their heads to those below the sovereign level. Everything began to calm down. The terrifying ripples completely disappeared. The mountain range no longer shook, the ground no longer rumbled, and the sky returned to its calm state. Under everyone's gazes, the eyelashes of Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, began to tremble slightly above his tightly shut eyes. All of a sudden, Du Xiaofu's tightly shut eyes opened. Chi. As Du Xiaofu opened his tightly shut eyes, golden light surged out from his originally clear and deep eyes. It was as if a golden bolt of lightning had materialized and shot into the sky. Even his body suddenly erupted with a large number of golden talisman inscriptions. Rumble. At this moment, the large number of golden talisman inscriptions behind the tall figure sitting cross-legged in the sky transformed into a faintly discernible golden-winged great rock. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's cross-legged body was like a real golden-winged great rock that had descended. His golden eyes were like two blazing suns that illuminated the sky and looked down on the world. Whoosh. In the next moment, Du Xiaofu's cross-legged body directly leaped into the sky. His arms were slightly spread out like a peerless great rock spreading its wings. A roar that sounded like a rock's cry resounded through the 9 heavens. Gee, this roar was like a rock's cry, like a lion's roar, like a crane's cry, and like a tiger's roar. The sound shot into the sky and shook the 9 heavens. A terrifying aura surged out from within his body. Under the terrifying aura, that loud roar seemed to have caused the world to shake. Space rippled and the mountains trembled. Bang, bang, bang. The sound wave turned into an arc that swept out in all directions, carrying with it a majestic energy. Many mountains in the surrounding mountain range exploded and collapsed under the power of the sound wave. A loud roar caused such a terrifying commotion. It was even able to bring about a kind of pressure from the heavens and earth. The sound reverberated in the air. The vibrations caused pain in the ears of those with lower cultivation levels and the beast souls in their minds. The disciples of the golden-winged great rock clan below all felt their hair stand on end. Buzz. Suddenly, at this moment, Jialo Jueyu, who had once again retracted his body, a brilliant golden light rose from behind him. His robes fluttered in the wind, accompanied by the sound of thunder and the mysterious power of the heavens and earth. What is the second commander doing? What is that brat Jueyu trying to do? Suddenly, all the disciples of the golden-winged great rock clan and the powerhouses of the golden-winged great rock clan on the mountain peak exclaimed in surprise. But at this moment, Jialo Jueyu's body had already rushed out. It was as if he had merged with the heavens and earth. He carried with him the might of the heavens and was peerlessly graceful. He was like a peerless, ferocious beast soaring through the sky. Chapter 1424. Supremacy. Jueyu has undergone nirvana. He possesses the power of heaven and earth and the will of a supremacy. He also possesses a true bone and a divine body. He is invincible among those of the same level. Watching Jialo Jueyu charge at Du Xiaofu from the mountain peak and sensing his formless aura, the elders and protectors cried out in shock. At this moment, all the elders and protectors of the golden-winged great rock clan were shocked, but none of them stopped Jialo Jueyu. In fact, all these experts were looking forward to it. If Jialo Jueyu was really going to attack Du Xiaofu, what would happen if a lesser supremacy met a greater supremacy? What would happen if a demon king met a true rock? The elders and protectors of the golden-winged Great Rock clan had guessed correctly. Jialo Jueyu was going to attack Du Xiaofu. Jialo Jueyu was a true rock. Although he was in human form and hadn't activated his true body, he still possessed the true rock technique. Like a peerless true rock, he flew across the sky and appeared in front of Du Xiaofu in the blink of an eye. Golden light erupted from his body. Chila. Jialo Jueyu's expression was solemn. He possessed boundless majesty and the might of a supremacy. He stretched out his right hand, twisting space and transforming it into a huge golden claw. The golden claw erupted with endless golden talisman runes. It contained the power of heaven and earth and directly enveloped Du Xiaofu. The supremacy suppression? What a strong pressure. The second commander is too strong. Under that claw, all the golden-winged Great Rock clan disciples' beast souls trembled. Their rock blood froze. Just the energy shockwaves alone were enough to make them kneel down. Du Xiaofu moved. He stopped laughing and stared at Jialo Jueyu, who was charging towards him with a claw. Suddenly, golden light gushed out from his body. He didn't hesitate at all. His purple robes fluttered in the wind as he shook his arm. Golden light wrapped around his fist as he punched out with it. This punch seemed ordinary, but suddenly, it made one's heart beat faster. For no reason, they felt a pressure that made them want to kneel down. This terrifying pressure seemed to come from the depths of heaven and earth and souls. However, it mostly came from the body of the purple-robed Great Robe. Heavens! God! This is the divine might of a supremacy, grand supremacy. This is the divine might of a supremacy. On the mountain peak, the face of the great elder, Gao Daijiao, was contorted in agitation as he cried out in shock. His old body was trembling uncontrollably. The purple-robed young man's casual punch was accompanied by the divine might of a paragon, causing even Gao Daijiao to tremble. Bang! Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Du Xiaofu's fist blasted out, and golden talisman runes covered it densely. Golden brilliance began to seep out from the surroundings, and the pressure swept out and connected to the 9 heavens. It was as if a supreme being had descended to the mortal world. In front of this punch, the space directly distorted and exploded, and a circle of black cracks appeared around the fist. This punch had already shattered space into pieces. After the space rippled, it was annihilated within the circle of black cracks. That ordinary punch, under its inexplicable might, shook all living beings in the world. Their souls trembled, and the blood in their bodies froze. Finally, in this short moment, the fist and the claw collided. The fist collided with the claw, and the claw covered the fist. At the point of collision, space was directly destroyed, revealing the void. A large area of space exploded. Shattered golden runes fell down like dazzling flower petals. It was beautiful and dreamy, but the aura was domineering and tyrannical, pushing through the world. Chi 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 chi. In just an instant, under the stunned gazes of the crowd, Jialo Jueyu's body was shot out of the sky by the collision of the fist, and like lightning, he was blasted into the mountains below. Bang 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 bang. Suddenly, in the mountains and rivers below, it was as if an atomic bomb had exploded. Countless golden lights shot into the sky, and a large area of mountains exploded, like an erupting volcano. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The mountain range exploded, and a torrential downpour of golden light appeared between heaven and earth. Mountain after mountain was razed to the ground, and huge waves rose up in the water. At this moment, the Demon King and the True Rock had only exchanged a single blow, and it was already so terrifying. In this exchange, Jialo Jueyu, who had undergone nirvana, was sent flying with a single punch. The second commander can't even withstand a single blow. Unbelievable. Too strong. This is a battle between supremacies. Under the terrifying movement and power, the disciples of the golden-winged rock clan below trembled. Their lips turned white, and their souls trembled. The terrifying pressure was too terrifying. Oh my God, Jueyu couldn't even withstand a single blow. On the mountain peak, all the powerhouses of the Golden-Winged Rock Clan, including the clan leader Jalo Changtian, the Great Elder, and the Second Elder, were so shocked that they couldn't speak for a long time. These Golden-Winged Rock Clan powerhouses knew Jalo Jueyu's current strength. He was a pure-blooded disciple of the Golden-Winged Rock Clan, with the true bones in his body, and had always been arrogant among his peers. At this moment, his divine body was almost complete, and he had even achieved nirvana. He was absolutely invincible among those at the same level of cultivation. But such an invincible existence was sent flying by the Demon King with a single punch. This made the experts of the Golden-Winged Great Rocks find it hard to accept. This was simply too unbelievable. No, that kid's body is sparkling and translucent, and the runes are restrained. It contains the golden crow sky burning lightning. That's the characteristic of refining a divine body to great success. Du Xiaofu, that kid, definitely succeeded in refining his divine body. While everyone was shocked, the fifth elder Jalo Yuantu suddenly exclaimed, as if he had discovered a new continent. It's indeed the characteristic of refining a divine body to great success. The third elder Jalo Yuantu also exclaimed. Refining a divine body to great success was something only the Golden-Winged Rock Clan could do. Although it was easier than the legendary Nirvana, it wasn't much different. On the mountain peak, everyone could feel that Jalo Jueyu had benefited greatly from refining his divine body in the secret realm. He had reached the point where his divine body was almost complete, but it wasn't enough to refine his divine body to great success. But now, Du Xiaofu, a human, had refined his divine body to great success. This shocked all the powerhouses of the Golden-Winged Rock Clan. Refining his divine body to large success, fusing with a golden crow heaven burning lightning, fusing his meridian soul and primordial spirit into one, and undergoing nirvana as a grand exalt. Just how freakish is this Du Xiaofu? The great guardian Jialo Huanyu gasped. His eyes were full of astonishment. Whoosh! Under the gazes of countless people, shocking energy waves swept out and dissipated quietly, as if they were pushed away by an invisible hand. Above the firmament, a young man in a purple robe was shrouded in a faint golden glow. His black hair was draped over his shoulders, and his eyes were clear. His tall and straight body exuded an indescribable majesty and majestic aura, causing the surrounding area to tremble. He was like a deity standing in the firmament. Whoosh! A golden figure flew out from the shattered mountains and waters below. His long hair was draped over his shoulders, and his robe was tattered and stained with dust. He looked a little disheveled, but he still looked very charming. It was Jialo Jueyu, who had just been punched down by Du Xiaofu. Looking at the purple-robed young man in front of him, Jialo Jueyu's eyes flashed with golden light. Suddenly, he knelt down on one knee, and the golden light in his eyes turned into reverence. He lowered his head, and his voice reverberated throughout the entire Golden-Winged Rock Clan. Jialo Jueyu greets the young clan leader. His voice reverberated, and it was mixed with an invisible pressure. Jialo Jueyu was also a supreme being, and he could be considered invincible among those of the same level. Among those of the same generation, he could be said to be outstanding. The nirvana of a supreme being was enough to explain everything. But at this moment, such a young supreme being, true rock of the Golden-Winged Rock Clan, also lowered his head in front of the Demon King. The sound wave reverberated, causing the entire Golden-Winged Rock Clan to instantly fall silent. But in just a short period of time, many figures in Golden-Winged Rock Clan's original bodies flapped their wings and soared into the sky, entrenching themselves in midair. Greetings, young clan leader. Waves of sound followed behind Jialo Jueyu, and it was as if they pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks, rumbling through the clouds. They were Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Yueying, and the other younger generation. At this moment, golden light surged in their eyes. It was not only a kind of submission, but also a kind of reverence, a sincere reverence. When that human first came to the clan, not many Golden-Winged Rock Clan disciples put him in their eyes. They only regarded him as an ant, and even wanted to dig out the clan's treasures. But later, Du Xiaofu repeatedly shocked the entire clan and defeated Jialo Jueyu. Later on, in the clan's grand competition, Everyone thought that Du Xiaofu did not dare to face Jialo Jueyu, so he did not choose to make a move. But in the end, just as Jialo Jueyu was defeated by Jialo Jueyu, Du Xiaofu walked out and turned the tide, injuring Jialo Jueyu. That battle shocked the entire golden-winged rock clan, and it ended in a draw. But all the disciples of the clan knew that if it wasn't for the fact that Du Xiaofu didn't want the rift between the clan leader and Jialo Jueyu, and didn't want the rift between Jialo Jueyu and the entire golden-winged rock clan to worsen, he was afraid that Jialo Jueyu's demon bone would have been dug out, so he chose to draw in the end. After all, Jialo Jueyu was a pure-blooded disciple of the golden-winged rock clan, and the son of the clan leader. He was also the only terrifying existence in the younger generation of the clan who could stand shoulder to shoulder with Jialo Jueyu. Even if he had the demon bone, he was still respected by his peers. Du Xiaofu chose to draw, which also made some people secretly feel grateful to Du Xiaofu in their hearts. In addition to all the things in the past, everyone had already accepted him in their hearts. In the end, in the Golden Crow Burning Heaven Thunder secret realm, in order to protect all the younger generation of the clan, Du Xiaofu actually sacrificed himself. When his life was at stake, he chose to help everyone and let himself fall into a desperate situation. Chapter 1425. Otherwise, not only would Jialo Jueyu have been able to achieve nirvana, but all the younger generation of the golden-winged great rocks would have perished in that secret realm. If that had happened, it would have been a heavy blow to the entire golden-winged great rocks. It would have been far more serious than having their bones and tendons broken. This was especially true for the younger generation of the golden-winged great rocks who had entered the mystic realm. They knew that if Du Xiaofu and Xiao Xing hadn't chosen to deal with the Golden Crow heaven-burning lightning alone in order to protect them, none of them would have been able to escape that day. When the final space collapsed, the hearts of the young generation of the great golden-winged rocks who had escaped death trembled and they were in awe. Today, the purple-robed youth had miraculously escaped, achieved nirvana, and used the sovereign thunderstorm to bless the entire golden-winged great rocks. All the golden-winged great rocks had benefited greatly. At this moment, in the hearts of Jialo Juekong and the others, the respect and awe they felt for the purple-robed youth was not only because of his insane strength, but also because of the respect that came from the depths of their hearts. This kind of awe was sincere and rare, and also a kind of recognition that came from the bottom of their hearts. It could be said that in the entire golden-winged great rocks, no one still thought of the purple-robed youth as a human. They all thought of him as a member of the golden-winged great rocks, a member of the golden-winged great rocks, and the young clan leader of the golden-winged great rocks. Even Jialo Juekong, who had some friction with Du Xiaofu and had been trampled on, was looking at the purple-robed youth with golden eyes. He was completely convinced. Phew! Du Xiaofu stood in the air, his purple robes flapping in the wind. He looked at the figures around him and exhaled a long breath of turbid air that shook the space. Boom! The formless and majestic aura that seeped out from his tall and straight body had already caused the entire world to quietly tremble. The sovereign nirvana, the heavens have blessed our clan. Feeling the powerful aura that caused the world to quietly tremble, the entire golden-winged rock race sounded with low sighs of reverence and shock. All eyes were fixed on the sky, trembling at the sight of the purple-robed figure standing proudly. The central state was in a state of carnage. The World Guild Master advanced and swept through everything. In less than half a year, no one could stop him. He conquered countless territories and swept through countless mountain sects and empires. With Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, Little Tiger, and Du Yunlong, as well as the 18 heavenly generals and the heavenly beast hall's army of demonic beasts, no one in Kyushu could stop them except for the 9 superpowers. 3 days ago, a great battle had shaken the entire central state. The Celestial Sect was one of the top forces in the central region. It had many martial honorables in the Munchu and a 9-star spiritual talisman master. It was even more powerful than the 7-star hall. There had been many young talents in the Celestial Sect. Although they weren't as famous as Shui Ruhan, Wu Ming, and Zhu Chongling, they were still famous. Back when the Purifying Evil Alliance attacked the World Guild, the Celestial Sect and the Sky Snake Sect were among them. 3 days ago, The World Guild attacked the Celestial Sect's base. It was said that the 9-star spiritual talisman master in the Celestial Sect was killed by Du Xiaoyao from the World Guild with 2 punches. None of the martial honorables in the Manchu's base managed to escape. More than 200 martial emperors and hundreds of thousands of elite disciples were killed by the World Guild's army. That was the most powerful battle that the World Guild had fought in the past half a year, and it was easily settled. When the news spread, everyone was shocked. After that, the World Guild's army rested in the Celestial Sect's base for a short while. They didn't continue the battle. The Moon Shadow Hall has received the news from Xiaojing. Our third brother is in the Golden Winged Rock clan, but he ran into some trouble. It will take some time for him to come back, Du Yunlong said to the people in the majestic hall of the Celestial Sect. Inside the hall, there were Master Apothecary Yi Wuming, Yi Piaoling, Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, Little Tiger, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Black Dragon King, Peerless Sword King, and other core experts of the World Guild. The president is in the Golden Winged Rock clan? Peerless Sword King and the others were shocked. The Golden Winged Rock clan was only a legend to them. Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Black Dragon King, and the others were even more shocked. To them, the Golden Winged Rock clan was a supreme beast clan. Xiaojing also said that there will be a great calamity in this world soon. He asked us to preserve our strength and work hard to improve our cultivation. Only then will we be able to protect ourselves, Du Yunlong said with a serious expression. It wasn't hard to know that the great calamity that Du Xiaojing mentioned was no small matter. The great calamity of the world. Sister Xiaoluo mentioned it before. Du Xiaoqing frowned. When she was in the farmer's home, she had heard Sister Xiaoluo mention that the great calamity was coming, but she didn't know what it was. No wonder the Great Luan Sect, Sky Snake Sect, and Spirit Sky Valley didn't do anything after so long. I'm afraid that the great calamity is also in their fear. Master Apothecary Yi Wuming's eyes glowed faintly with golden light. He shook his robe and said, "We've been conquering for a while now. If we continue, we won't have enough manpower. If there's no one guarding the place we're conquering, the people won't be able to make a living. It's time for us to rest for a while." Old Apothecary is right. Then let's rest first. We'll wait for third brother to come back and get our revenge from the Great Luan Sect, Sky Snake Sect, and Spirit Sky Valley. Du Yunlong's eyes glowed with lightning and coldness. His aura was sharp and bloody. "Greetings, Father." Du Xiaofu knelt on one knee and bowed respectfully to Jialo Changtian in the majestic hall. "Haha, no need to be so courteous. Get up." Jialo Changtian smiled and helped Du Xiaofu up. "It's a miracle that you could come out from the shattered space. Not to mention, your divine body has reached the grand completion stage, and your meridian soul has fused with your Yuan spirit. You've achieved the Nirvana realm. It's really incredible. With your monstrous talent, I'm afraid it won't be long before you surpass me. At that time, the entire clan will need you to lead them." Du Xiaofu nodded and stood up. He smiled at Jialo Changtian and said, "I'll do my best. Thank you, Father." This time, Du Xiaofu still thought that he was lucky to be able to come out from the shattered space of the Golden Crow Sky Burning Lightning. With Du Xiaoyao's monstrous talent, he didn't expect to be able to walk out of the shattered space. As for the fusion of the Meridian Soul and the Yuan Spirit, Du Xiaofu only had an epiphany. He didn't expect that he would succeed in the end. From now on, the Yuan Spirit was the Meridian Soul and the Meridian Soul was the Yuan Spirit. "You'll be my younger brother in the future. You better listen to me. Otherwise, I'll deal with you regardless of whether you've achieved the Nirvana realm or not." Jialo Kailing came to Du Xiaofu's side and patted Du Xiaofu's shoulder with a hint of warning. However, there was a smile on her valiant face. "I don't dare to provoke you." Du Xiaofu looked at Jialo Kailing and subconsciously took a step back. He smacked his lips and smiled. "Kailing, don't bully your younger brother. Look at your peers in the clan. Who is not afraid of you now? If you continue to bully them, who will dare to accept you in the future?" Jialo Changtian glared at Jialo Kailing. However, looking at the girl and the young man in front of him, a man and a woman, a son and a daughter, he felt warm in his heart. However, deep in his heart, Jialo Changtian couldn't help but think about the rebellious figure. If that rebellious figure was also in the clan, together with Jalo. The golden-winged rock clan wouldn't be able to survive in this world in the future. Father, you're too protective of this brat. Besides, I don't plan to get married. Jalo Kailing was glared at by Jalo Changtian. She immediately rolled her eyes at her father. Then, the graceful figure turned around and left the main hall without looking back. This damn girl. Jalo Changtian smiled helplessly and looked at the leaving figure. His eyes were filled with doting love. Looking at Jalo Kailing's leaving figure, Du Xiaofu also smiled bitterly. He then looked at Jalo Changtian and pondered for a while. Then, he asked, Father, what is the great sovereign nirvana? After nirvana, shouldn't it be the domain realm? Du Xiaofu knew very little about the great sovereign nirvana. He didn't even know that there were great and great sovereign nirvana after nirvana. He always thought that after nirvana, one would be able to step into the domain realm. Nirvana is a cycle between life and death. It's called nirvana. There's no difference between nirvana and the world. There's no difference between nirvana and nirvana. Jalo Changtian paused for a while. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said seriously, generally speaking, the 6 directions is the mirror heart, and the return is the body. It's the same in the past and the present, and it's always the same. It's the nirvana. Nirvana is born from one's heart. If one can extinguish one's dream, one will realize one's true sense. It's like removing one's dust from a mirror and revealing one's light. You've already surpassed the ordinary nirvana and reached the great sovereign nirvana realm. There are different sizes of great sovereign nirvana realm, and great sovereign nirvana realm is rare. As far as I know, in the entire golden-winged Great Pong Bird clan, there are only 3 people who can achieve great sovereign nirvana realm. One of them is the ancestor of the golden-winged Great Pong Bird clan. When Du Xiaofu heard this, he seemed to understand but didn't understand. He asked, I feel that I've broken through this time, but it doesn't seem to be the domain realm. Why is that? You've already reached the great sovereign nirvana realm. As I said just now, there's no difference between nirvana and the world, and there's no difference between nirvana and nirvana realm. Therefore, there's not much difference between your nirvana realm and the domain realm. It's just that the levels are different. I'm not fated to achieve great sovereign nirvana realm, so I don't know much about it. However, there were ancient ancestors in the clan who achieved great sovereign nirvana realm, so they left behind a lot of insights.